Pain.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hello, Uzu. This is our first time casting together.
Hey,
How are
Keg.
you?
I'm doing
Hi.
good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. But you know what else is fantastic? We got these teams here today. But you know what? I want to focus on you right now because you are awesome. And your bed's also very nicely made.
Thanks.
Mine isn't.
Yeah, my grandma just came in from out of town, so I had to spiff things up.
Well, put her on the camera.
She's in the kitchen.
The kitchen's not where the camera is, Uzu.
No.
Well,
I have a webcam. I can't.
you bring the grandma in here.
I'll bring her in later.
Oh, later? Okay. I want her to do the analysis. All right.
The analysis? Oh boy.
I want her to tell us everything about Capitao and his fantastic plays and the setups we're going to see tonight. Speaking of which, though, we do have our map bans coming out. We do see Villa's completely nixed and gone. And, ooh, all right, Villa already gone. It's usually a mainstay map, so if I had to take a wild guess, Uzu, I'm going to say we're going to see another consulate tonight. I hate that map.
Possibly. I mean, I haven't cast a consulate in what seems forever. I have seen consulate played recently over on AEL. It was between DVX and Exo's team. I can't remember the name of it, but it looks to be that Villa was one of our bands as well. Possibly Coastline. I'm thinking maybe definitely Theme Park. I think we're going to see Theme Park gone. I don't know if we're going to be seeing much Oregon.
Really?
To be honest, I don't think we're going to be seeing Oregon tonight. If anything, it might just be like either Kafe or Coastline.
All right.
Or maybe Clubhouse. It might be Clubhouse too.
I just think it's really bold that you don't want to go for Oregon. Do you have like a personal vendetta against it, or?
No, I think teams have just been playing a lot of Oregon lately, and they don't want to be playing the same maps over and over again because they're revealing their strats more and more. So that also gives teams chances to counter strat, and just opens up their playbook on that map. So maybe I think just going to like another more structured map such as Kafe, and the way it is, it's just yeah, I don't think we're gonna be seeing much Oregon, and a lot of people do love Oregon. I just think we'll be seeing Kafe and Clubhouse once the bans are submitted through.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I can't really argue with that. I think that's a pretty good analysis in of itself. Oh, but there we go, the full ban there. Oh, you were right. No Oregon. You must be a prophet.
Well, I was known as the prodigy or the prophet like a year ago with my predictions.
What
you don't remember the predictions I had like a year ago?
Challenger League? My brain is melted ever since.
Not really Challenger League, but more so like for Pro League. Like I think it was when we were under ESL. I had called that like I think last year in like June or May before the season had started that it would be Rogue heading down into relegations, and they ended up finishing in 7th place alongside Sonics, and then Rogue ended up losing to Two-Faced, and then Sonics lost their spot. And then
you really hit a nerve.
Yeah,
you hit a nerve with me. Rogue's my favorite EU team. I'm
talking about the NA team.
Oh.
Yeah, because they were in NA, and then when Rogue got relegated by Two-Faced, then they went to Europe.
Yeah.
So they were known as Giants before that Lestream. So.
Yes. And I mean, if you get beat so hard you have to go to Europe, you know something's already wrong. And they got beaten in Europe too. Where are they going to go next, Uzu? Well,
they're headed to relegations again for the first time in literally a calendar and a half year. So
back to APAC. They're going to go to APAC now. But statistically, we have statistics on these two teams now. We do have Emergence versus first attempt here. Luckily, though, it's not going to be their first attempt on either side. But we do see a common trend between both of these teams, Uzu. And what's interesting about both of them is that they're kind of both on the up and come up from major losing streaks. We see 4 losses in a row for Emergence, but we're going to be saying this a lot tonight, but they're emerging their way out of that losing rut into a 2-win streak.
Definitely so, yeah. Best player is obviously going to be Goria on that entry roamer role. A 1.2 KPR. Not too bad stats for your entry. Your flex is kind of running middle of the pack here with the 0.96 rating. Struggling to maintain a positive KD. They're only down by 6. But, Goria, man, plus 65? Jesus.
Monster. An actual monster.
Ridiculous.
Inhuman. Still inhuman.
Yeah.
But
So this, sorry, you can go ahead.
what I'm wondering, and I'm sure productions can let us know behind the scenes, Goria might have the best stats out of everyone at SCS. I'm not a statologist. I hate numbers. I'm actually allergic to numbers, Uzu, but I'm hoping someone else who's more affiliated with numbers can let us know, because Goria, like we mentioned, is an absolute monster in just about every single way, but the rest of his team kind of need to pick it up a little bit.
11-13, holy cow. For Villa. Jesus, so they obviously seem to have some struggles on Villa, given that they've won one in overtime and lost one in like whatever overtime that is. But their stronger maps do seem to be Kafe and Oregon. They've lost Kafe. I'm sorry, no, their strongest map doesn't seem to be Kafe, which I think Kafe was picked by first attempt, given that they've lost it both times. And it's a bit strange that Emergence hasn't banned it. So I think the more recent games are at the top, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they're at the
No,
bottom.
oh, they're at the bottom. Okay.
It's a palindrome though for Emergence.
Yeah.
You know, win, win, loss, 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 win, win.
Yeah. At least they're drawing even 4-4 split.
Very true. What I do like though, and a little bit of a historical trivia for SCS, is that Villa game we were pointing out is, I believe, the second longest competitive game of Siege of all time.
Yeah. Because the other one was, the first one is CCS, which went 17-15, 32 rounds, if I'm not mistaken, if my math is correct there.
Correct.
Yeah, 32 rounds. And then this one is 24.
I told you I'm not a number guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is 24 because you have 11 and 11. That's 22 plus 2 is 24. So 24 round game. And then the third longest was that invite between G2 and Empire.
Yes.
And then first attempt, they were completely lost like the first few play days. But the good thing about first attempt is that they finally picked it back up. Flinties is their newest pickup, from my knowledge. Not Casper. Blumens, they're arguably their best player, without a doubt. Had to step down due to IRL issues. And then Casper, he's running middle of the pack on roamer entry. Got himself a +2 KD there on his stats. PK, you know, this team doesn't seem to be all that bad. I think they've just kind of been having some trouble finding their footing. And then once they found that footing, they finally started to get the ball rolling and finally started to pull together some wins. And they're currently sitting at a 4-5 scoreline here, or for their record here inside of SCS. So I'm pretty excited to see who's going to come out on top, because both these teams have 4 wins each.
Yeah, you're totally right. And I mean, if we do see first attempt win these sets tonight, it's going to be just a larger part of a Cinderella story of their comeback. A huge loss. I mean, 6 in a row, you would think, you know, they're done and done for the entire season. But they're making that comeback now.
Yeah.
And I mean...
Yeah, I'm really curious who's going to come out on top, because both these teams, they've struggled very early on. As for Emergence, you know, they were pretty middle of the pack. They won their first 2 games, and then they went on a 4-game losing streak, and then they won the last 2. As for first attempt, they were sitting at the bottom for quite some time. I remember the first time that I came into cast here, they were at the bottom of the leaderboard, and now it's Phantom Legion, followed by Synthetic. So yeah, since Synthetics have been having a lot of trouble lately, like it's Empire being on top, no surprise there. Redux Rising's really close with them in the 2-point division. As for In Control Nation, they've been pretty solid so far. They've had some ups and downs, but it's very rarely that does happen. Wichita Wolves, I believe that they've also been going through some tryout process, if I'm not mistaken. And then prior to finishing out that 5th place spot with 18 points, and you got Visionary with 13. So first attempt can overtake Visionary this week, at least for the time being, should they win these next 2 maps. And if I'm not mistaken, it's 3 points per win.
Yes.
And then it's a 2-point win for overtime.
Correct.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're Phantom Legion right now, you're part of a 3... In terms of pure win-loss, you're in a 3-way tie, 1-9. That is just not the place you want to be in. But Emergence and first attempt, Uzu, they're both struggling to stay above the water right now. If they lose this, maybe tonight, maybe not necessarily tonight, but if they keep falling down, they're going to be right in the middle of this, you know, the sticky underbelly of the sea with those bottom 3 teams. We do have the predictions here tonight, and Uzu, it did sound like you knew exactly who you wanted to see come out and win, but please feel free to correct us all if I was wrong.
So we're going to be doing Emergence versus First Attempt. A lot of people are picking First Attempt, just given their recent track record. I do think that First Attempt might be coming out on top here, but I think it might just be a close game between the two teams. Light Rose and Jasmine are picking Emergence, however, so
They're right.
they're kind of going against the majority here. However, on the other side of things, they're expecting the tie still 1 win, 1 loss for each side for Chief and Azul. But overall, everyone's pretty much saying First Attempt.
Well, you know what? Everyone else is saying that, they're wrong. They're very wrong people. SCS, of course, notoriously known for all their predictions being wrong every single time because I disagree with them. I do think it's going to be Emergence that come out on top, and if you vote for a tie, I think it's kind of a boring choice, but I could easily see that happening tonight, too.
Yeah. A lot of people are expecting Wichita Wolves to win out their game as well. Phantom Legion are expected to win against Hostile Actions. I can't really comment because I haven't seen either team play. But as for the majority, from what I've seen, Pride does seem to be on top. As for Redux Rising, a lot of people are choosing Lycus. I think that's going to be probably the game of the season because both those teams have just been storming through the competition, with Redux Rising only losing every now and then in overtime from the looks of it. They're only 2 points behind Lycus Empire, so whoever ends up winning out that matchup, I believe that they're going to be coming out on top overall in the league. But if they go 1-1, then it's just Redux Rising being still 2 points behind Lycus Empire, but they just each gain 3 points.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that game's going to go, too. I want to see some Titans fall. I want to see some crazy action coming on by. But Clubhouse and Kafe, a surprisingly boring map choice, if you ask me. I'm surprised we didn't see that theme park or that coastline that you predicted would go down. But Uzu, we've seen Club, we've seen Kafe so many times. It's about on par of Oregon about strats being overplayed. What are your thoughts going into Club?
Club's pretty simple. It's more laid out than anything than the rest of the maps, just because of how structured and how the map is laid out. You're most likely going to be seeing a Maverick ban, a Thatcher ban, maybe a Capitao. If Wamai is not banned, then we will definitely be seeing some Capitao. That's just my expectation, because if you don't have Wamai on the board, then you're just free range to use those asphyxiating bolts and those smoke bolts to your advantage. And he just brings so much utility to the team. As for defense, you could see a Wamai ban, you could see a Valkyrie ban, maybe even a Maestro ban too. It just depends on how the team wants to be playing out. Yeah, a Kaid ban should come out if there is a Thatcher ban. It's pretty much just set in stone. Like those are like the 3 ops for each side. It's usually Thatcher, Maverick, or Capitao for the attacking squad, and then for the defense, it's usually Wamai, sometimes Valkyrie, Maestro as well. I've seen some smoke bans too, I think. But the first one off the board is going to be Maverick, so that's a given.
Do you think we'll see Thatcher?
Possibly. Thatcher's a pretty common ban on this map as well.
He's a common ban everywhere.
Yeah, Thatcher is rarely played, even with his nerf. It's just not enough because he'll just disable it, but it's just doesn't sit well with a lot of teams because they've already gotten so used to playing without a Thatcher, and even sometimes when Thatcher isn't banned, he's sometimes not ran. It's the same thing with Mira too. Like not many teams come up with Mira strats because she gets banned quite often. Mira's another defensive ban that is very good for Clubhouse, just given how she can impact a lot of the bomb sites.
Very true. Oh, there you go. Speak of the devil, you are the prophet still. You still got it in you.
Yeah, last ban possibly might be Wamai coming out from Emergence. If they do ban Wamai, I expect them to be running a lot of Capitao and a lot of smokes. Once they burn off the ADSs, they'll probably bring in like a Jackal, a Capitao, Thermite, Hibana.
You are wrong! My bad. Oh, but it's so close. I mean, Kaid is pretty common as well, but it's pretty much 50-50 when it comes to Wamai and Kaid. It really could have gone hand in hand, but you know what, Uzu? I still think you are right. We are probably going to see a lot of Capitao, despite the Wamai going to be a little bit of a hindrance there.
Yeah, it's just that Capitao brings so much utility to the team. Amazi isn't something that you normally see. Bandit's obviously going to come in because there's no Kaid and there's no mute being ran, which I think would be more beneficial than a visual, in my opinion. But that's just what Emergence want to run. You're bringing in Thermite and Hibana because why not? I think you should replace Thermite with Ace, in my opinion. Sledge is common, Ash is common, Zofia is common for that utility dump meta. And Ben's going to be switching out Vigil for a Castle. Meanwhile, there's nothing that's going to be utilized on the other side for a 6 pick on first attempt.
I think it's really interesting that we're actually seeing Emergence go for gym first instead of your normal sites like CCTV or church, but instead they go for what's commonly pretty much the tertiary site. They have a really good setup here, and maybe it's just the kind of, I guess, juke out what first attempt wants to bring out, but there's no niche operators on first attempt side. There's nothing really that makes first attempt squad or even their plans not justified for gym. I think it's a very odd choice.
Yeah, I think that Emergence are just wanting to sort of trick first attempt here, because more often than not, you'll have teams either start off in cache and server or down below in the basement. And I think that Emergence are just wanting to catch their opponents a little bit off guard here. There's nothing wrong with first attempts operator picks here. It's very common to see Thermite and Hibana being utilized here. Moved is just going to be shooting air and into nothingness, just wasting bullets. Gore, however, is just going to go for a cheeky peek. I like to do that one a lot in rank. It catches people off guard sometimes, and it's pretty nice to get a kill there. And it's actually going to do a little bit of damage to Casper. He'll take about 30% damage of HP there.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more HP taken off of your entry than you probably want to have, but it's not going to really stop overall the initial setup for what first attempt wants to bring out. They are going to be maneuvering, they're going to be swerving their way around, going to every part of pretty much the entire map that they can, and so far we're not seeing much of an opposition. But with the Kaid ban, we're not really expecting one either. The Bandit Tricks, of course, coming near Jacuzzi as well. So you're not going to really need to prioritize that server lip opening up. Otherwise, it's going to be free reigns for the attackers a little while, especially with Finn having to relegate himself to the floor. And never mind to heaven instead.
Yeah. He was pretty much done there. The moment I saw that PK was on top of the roof, if he just even peeks out there, he's toast. But Ben's actually able to rotate over to Cash. Then for some reason, they bring a castle, but they don't castle off the construction window. They just have a wooden barricade there. They instead castle off logistics.
We did see two of them so far. We did see logistics, and we do see this gym window here as well. And I believe the last one's gonna be on gym entrance on the other side. Again, a very interesting choice. Another one's gonna fall, though. It's gonna be the castle going down. Jules able to find another one, and it's just an absolute army trudging their ways on forwards. And so far, Uzu, there hasn't been any opposition at all coming from Emergence's defense. In fact, every single shot they've made, except for the one landing on Casper, well, now killing Casper, have been pretty much null and void.
Yeah. So it's going to be the first opening pick for Emergence going in Goria's favor. Moot has moved on over into Master, taking a lot of damage onto Joel, but it'll finally get shut down inside of Logistics by Flinties. It's now a 2v4 for the defending squad. You have a C4 down below and a C4 with Goria on the main stairs. Flashbangs are going to ring out and a fully flash Goria here on those main stairs, so they're in a pretty big heap of trouble. If they don't have any intel with those Mozzie pests, then they're pretty much toast, because I don't think we even saw a bulletproof cam being taken. Plant's going to start to come down from bay. It's already halfway through. Goria's starting to possibly prep a C4, but they don't even seem to be aware of where the plant came down. The C4 will come out from Evil Clouds. It's not going to find anything. Goria's the last one down below to toss out a C4 out the window, but obviously nothing there is going to happen. You have PK outside on highway. Evil Clouds rotating all the way towards Cash with half a minute remaining. I think he's just trying to find the player on highway, which he'll do so, and lose the gunfight here to PK. So all of a sudden it's all on Goria, and first attempt are going to lock out round number 1.
Yeah, it's a very tough position to be in right now. Gory is the last one alive. He's got to peek whatever he can, but that diffuser's still going to keep ticking away. With only 12 seconds left, you need 7 to defuse. First attempt's going to win that super handedly, and despite all the C4 in the world, you're outmanned, you're outgunned, you're pretty much outpositioned as well. There's no possible way of winning that fake that gym site that you plan to fake your team or your enemies out against. Everything about that plan just did not work out, especially like you mentioned, those castle placements were very dubious to say the very least.
I honestly don't understand why they even considered using a castle barricade on the logistics door, because you always have to put it on gym window, gym door, and then construction window. If you're going, and they're not even having anyone play inside a cache, which really confuses me, just due to the fact that I don't know, just due to the fact that I'm sorry. You always have those 3 castle. Yeah, I mean put reinforcements over in cash, and then they don't even play cash. And the person who is supposed to be playing cash is in construction getting shot in the back, and then eventually getting shot from the rooftop. So I think Emergence are just not really there mentally. First attempt, however, they look very strong here with a new pickup of Flinties.
Well, I think it's a 200 IQ move. Emergence, realizing that they're the ultimate team in Rainbow Six, decided to give first attempt their tertiary site as an offering for the real battle that's about to come up.
5 seconds to insertion.
Possibly. Very possibly.
They had to
But
even things out a little bit.
yeah. And I think they just wanted to, again, I think they were just doing it to catch the first attempt off guard. And this time around, we're going to be going down into the basement. This looks to be a turtle hole to come out from Emergence, given that there's no castle being utilized this round. You're utilizing Ben with the Malusi and those Banshees to prevent any kind of movement coming in. And if there is any attacker awareness, then those Banshees will be able to catch anyone on first attempt within the range, and it'll start, wubbing around and giving intel to the defenders. Moved, however, is rotated all the way upstairs, and he's going to be creeping his way down main stairs. And Flinty's right now, I believe he's aware of somebody possibly playing upstairs. Jewel, however, for the time being right now, can't get his drone inside of the door, but PK is going to be able to get rid of that very easily. I don't see... Never mind, there's going to be some impact tricking going on. So Mood right now for the time being is just going to be on top of those main stairs, but Ben will fall here from a push coming in from Casper all the way in through dirt, and Casper's going to fall back, realizing that they've got the opening pick, and now they can start to progress to the bomb site whenever they want to. So now I don't see anyone from first attempt outside on the chain rappel. But this is going to be really bad for Mood as he moves into toilets.
Yeah, this is definitely not the ideal position for the defenders right now. They had a huge roam game, or at least a little bit of a roam game with Moved in the beginning, but he has to relegate himself downwards. They're trying to make their way back down onto the site, but there's so much opposition in the way. Moved is trying to find the sledge, but Flinties is going to back off in the nick of time. Meanwhile, though, there's a lot of other problems way outwards towards the bottom of the site, but Gory is able to find bait instead. That's one of the hard breachers gone, but there's still another one to have to deal with. Meanwhile, we have we have Jules at the top trying to find some action, but everyone on the defense is falling one by one. Everywhere you go, the angles are just superior, it seems, for first attempt, and well, one already did fall. It's going to be up to Casper to stay alive to help keep that man count still an even 4v3. Meanwhile, though, Uzu, it's a tough position for these remaining attackers, though. They're trying to get onto the site. They're trying not to waste their man advantage, but they're struggling quite a bit. Never mind, Casper's going to fall anyways. Everything I said was null and void.
Evil Cloud had a really good opportunity right there, but he's going to move away. Gorilla, however, is going to get the advantage in favor for his team. It's all on Flinties and PK here with the 2v3. There's 33 seconds left to go. They can make this go in their favor, but the protection from above is going to have to be very crucial here from Flinties. And PK is going to get off the plant, thinking that he hears someone inside a church. Toxic Babes are ringing out, and Flinty's going to get taken down from up above. Actually, from down below, Evil Cloud's peeking up through the hatch and getting himself a 3K, if I'm not mistaken. PK is going to fall there at the end right there. And wow, what an angle from Evil Clouds.
Pretty nice from Evil. I mean, that's just some absolute marksmanship right there. And Emergence, despite all of it, despite having that man disadvantaged for a while, brought it back pretty soundly on that turtle defense. You know, it was a turtle, like you mentioned before. They did kind of spread their wings a little bit, but they did not fly. In fact, it was a horrible mistake because most of those roamers died. It was up to everyone turtling initially that saved the day there. And are we going to see that on CCTV too? I think we're going to see a full turtle here.
It's possible that we will be seeing a full turtle, but usually with CCTV, you have your anchors playing on site. You have one in Raptors, which is usually going to be Wamai. And they are not going to be bringing Wamai, which is pretty interesting. They're going to be swapping him out for Malusi. So most likely Malusi will be playing up top there, if not Evil Clouds. You're also bringing Mute to prevent droning and to prevent breaching, since there is no Thatcher to be utilized here. And there is no Bandit. So for first attempt, they're going to have to go down below into Secret and impact the Mute Jammer. And then your anchors are going... There is no Maestro being played either, which is really interesting to me. They're bringing Legion, Jaeger, Malusi, Smoke, and Mute. I don't know exactly who you switch out from Maestro. Possibly the Legion for intel, because
Okay.
your only source of intel is just going to be with your default cams and those Malusi Banshees.
I mean, worst comes to worst, you could have brought out a Valkyrie too, but from what we've been seeing so far, I think Emergence is really focusing more on getting kills than really their utility side of the game. We've been seeing them being swinging quite a bit. Unfortunately, a lot of these kills, though, or at least the attempted kills they're bringing out, are mostly them getting swung. But regardless, they are the ones normally to initiate a lot of these fights, and a lot of those fights they haven't quite won except for the very ends of the round that we just saw. But right now, we're seeing them play a very aggressive defense, and I'm curious to see if this is going to work for them, not maybe on just one site, but maybe on two.
Yeah. First minute's going to be coming to a close here pretty soon. You have Casper currently sitting outside on highway, and Goria is going to be, I think, trying to bait something inside of Cash. But the Zofia, from what it looks like, Jewel has already repelled his way up, and it looked like Ben was waiting for that Zofia to be waiting there. Casper is going to be the opening death here, and that's pretty big because Casper didn't get to use any of his utility this round, and now, I mean, it's not the end of the world since there is no Wamai being played, but it's going to be pretty costly because you're losing Fragger, and you're losing a gun, you're losing a lot of utility to clear out the defender utility whenever you needed it to.
You know, fun fact, every round so far, Casper has been involved in the opening pick. In one way or another, he was shot a little bit in round one. He didn't get the opening pick or receive it, but every other round, he got the first kill. Now he got the first death of the round. So it's a bit of a back and forth. We do see one member fall off the roof, it seems. Not going to be the best position for them, but it's a slower round overall. Everyone's looking to see where this next frag is going to come in from, but first attempt is playing a much more valiant but slower game. And Gory's going to be able to find Flinty as well, so that's going to be one. Jules able to return it back a little bit, taking out Sun. That's going to be the perfect refrag there, but down below on the floor, it's going to be moved as finds Jewel. It's just refrag city here. But it's a 4v2 now. This is a far cry from what we saw in round one. Moves is able to get a double kill, bring it down to PK, the last alive, to try to make something work. It's going to take down the SMG warrior himself, but it's going to be down to 3 more that he has to deal with while sneaking through a tiny little hole. We know exactly where he is, Uzu, and he could peek as much as he want all day long, but with 30 seconds left, no diffuser in hand, and only one way of really entering, well, you have to accept your fate at that point. That's exactly what he did, with Evil Clowns taking PK down, securing a 1-round lead in Emergence's favor.
Yeah, first attempt losing Casper there, I think, really costed them this round. Just due to the fact that Casper, if he's able to get on a heater, then he can pretty much frag out anyone in the lobby. It doesn't matter who you are. But so far, Emergence have been doing a pretty good job of shutting Casper down these past 2 rounds. He's been the opening death 2 rounds in a row now, if I'm not mistaken. If not the first one, that was the last round. Jim Bedroom going to come out again for Emergence since they've won both cash and server as well as the basement. No castle coming out here. It's probably going to be switched.
I wonder why.
From okay, there is no castle at all. No 6-bit coming out from Emergence. That's puzzling, and it weakens the defense significantly here because of just how much protection the castle barricades can bring. I don't know what Emergence are thinking. I don't know if they necessarily have strats. I think they just run defaults or whatever they feel comfortable with, and they just try to go with the flow and see what happens.
I could very well see that too. I mean, the castle didn't quite work out the way I think they wanted it to in that first round. In fact, it hurt them quite a bit. All the angles that they covered weren't really played too much until those barricades were destroyed. And the ones where the barricades normally are at, they were left open and they got killed because of it. But I think instead of the castle now, we do have a little bit more outside intel. The Valkyrie's able to throw her cams outside, show where those attackers are going to be from above, and that might help a little bit with their aggressive style of going for runouts, especially Evil Clouds. I could very well see a lot of these attackers struggle to get inside even from CCTV if they're fast enough.
Yeah, Evil Clouds is going to rotate all the way down into the basement now. While Ben, excuse me, is going to be sitting inside of server. That second magnet, I'm not sure what he's planning with it. For the time being, right now, the Jaeger's going to be in oil pit and miss the crucial shots onto the Zofia rotating up above. So now Joel's going to give the info onto Evil Clouds, who is currently rotating over towards main down below. So he'll be rotating up those main stairs within a few moments here. And for Emergence, they've barricaded off the server window, and so they're wanting to do a server hold here, as Goria and Ben are able to find the first 2 picks, and Casper's able to trade it back here onto Goria.
No, Goria! What?
Oh my god, what is Flinty's doing?
A double kill from Ben. Jules gotta stop his madness. He stops it. But was it enough? The damage has already been done, Uzu. You've lost both your hard breachers. You've lost 2 of your 3 soft. And there's still another one repelling up. Can this be? Oh, no, never mind. That was Zofia. But still, you have 2 left pushing your way through CCTV. And I hate to say that I was almost a prophet just like you. I'm trying to be in your shadow right now. But they barely got into CCTV. And those that are still alive have already been spotted out by the black eye cameras. They know exactly where they're at. Little do they know, Uzu. First attempt, they might have gotten 1 kill, but they're walking into a death trap.
It's possible, but there's a lot of time left here for first attempt to win out this round. They've equalized here with Casper. You have 1 member on the main stairs and another one sitting inside a gym. This could go well for first attempt if they play their cards right. You have both members sitting inside of logistics. The default camera is up. It's going to give moved a lot of information. And now the peek's going to come in from Casper, who can't win the gunfight, but the Zofia comes in. And for some reason, Clouds isn't able to peek. He retreats back into gym instead of fighting for the trade. What is he doing? 48 seconds to go, and the Jaeger's going to lose the gunfight. What are you doing, Emergence?
Very, very puzzling indeed. It seems like they just don't really know how to play this bot fight. They have some really cool ideas, you got to admit. I'm sure the analysis will either hate me or love me for saying that. Probably hate me. But they have some cool ideas for an aggressive style on CCTV. Like Ben getting those opening, 2K, 3K, 3 kills there? That was really cool to see.
2, I think, and it was Goria that got the other.
Correct, yes. But even then, there was no follow-up to it. There was no capitalization. Everyone else played super defensive, and they fell apart because of it.
Oh, so it's like Gloria, but without the L.
Yes.
Interesting.
I had a classmate in 5th grade named Gloria.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was she nice?
She was okay. I don't really remember her too much. I guess she wasn't memorable. Did you have a classmate in 5th grade named Gloria?
I don't know about 5th grade, but I think at one point I might have had a classmate named Gloria.
Nice. Very cool. So moving on though, we do have Church once again. It's an even 2-2 between both of these teams. But we're seeing pretty much the same exact defensive style again, where you're getting rid of the Mozzie, so maybe a little bit less of a roam game that didn't really work out the last time we saw Emergence on Church. But that's not really going to fit into their forte kind of style either, Uzu. So with the Valkyrie now in hand, this could be better for the intel, but they need to capitalize on it, unlike what they did last time.
Yeah. I kind of want to look back at that last round for Emergence. They got themselves off to a pretty good footing. It was a 2v4. And I don't know. I think they had the Maestro last round, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know. No.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Whoever was playing logistics, either way, they just got absolutely fried by Casper. Mozzie, yeah. I think that was Goria. And, man, there had to have been a drone in there giving Casper the info. And we didn't even get to see a Z ping because we were spectating the attacker side. And nothing came from... like a no ping, no red ping, just nothing. And Casper just completely smoked him. And then you move into logistics after impacting the wall open. And then that round could have easily been won by the defense. Because it was a 2v2, Casper swings, and Casper dies. Doesn't deal a frag at all to Emergence. And you have Jewel fighting for his refrag. He gets the refrag onto the person playing on the main stairs. And then the Jaeger retreats from 90 into gym.
Okay.
I don't understand. Flinty's, however, for this round is going to be the opening pick. Down goes your sludge. This is really bad here for first attempt. Son of Finn is still trying to hold inside of Dirt. He's just trying to utilize these angles as best as he can, trying to make the barbed wire work in his favor, and he does so, picking off Casper in the first peak as he does so. But Joel is there yet again to fight for his reflex, so it's now a 4v3. Ben currently watching the hatch from inside of Arsenal, and now Joel will have to fight within Dirt to try to equalize here for his team. You have Bait up top, who hasn't done anything for his team this match. I mean, sure, he's on Thermite, but still, he just hasn't been able to find any kind of action in here. And Jewel somehow missed this opportunity, but Bait is there for the equalizers. Jewel will get the advantage. Another will fall here from Goria. Everything that Emergence is doing, I just see as wrong.
I mean, a bold claim, but I don't disagree with you here. We have moved last one alive. Now trying to duke it out.
Oh my god, hit your shots.
Sight, but no. I'm gonna miss the majority of them. The MPX can only do so much against the Gatling gun that is Zophia's rifle. Just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Slamming them down to the floor. Uzu, let it out, buddy. Let it out. What's your event?
I have no nice words to say right now for Emergence.
Go for it. Go for it. I'm letting you.
Man, it is. They just look awful. And then they're flanking when there doesn't need to be flanks happening. Was there a Jaeger inside of Strip?
No.
Was he playing Strip? Because he came in from Bar, unless he flanked a blue. Emergence are just doing things that don't need to be happening, and it's costing them so much. And then the fight for the trades are just not there. It feels like they're a pug stack rather than a team.
Fair enough. I mean, it's kind of hard to disagree with you there. I mean, you could definitely tell what their priorities are, I would say, in the nicest way possible. They want to go for the kills, but even then, they're struggling to get these kills at time. Their positioning is not the best. The smoke did not need to push necessarily. No. Casper pushed instead for the most part. It was kind of a mutual pushing. It was like a sumo wrestling contest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the smoke had to swing to get that pick, and then he just ends up getting his life traded out by Jewel. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't even know how much utility he had in those toxic baids left, or if he even used them at all. I wasn't paying attention to that, but if he had some toxic canisters left, he could have just popped one and then just ran out of dirt and then repositioned yourself either on K9 or go into Church or move deep into Arsenal, because you already killed the sledge. There's not a whole lot of soft destruction that's going to happen above you. You know that Flinties has been playing sledge this entire time. It's a bit of a no-brainer. And right now, Goria's doing a bit of a brain dead play. He's trying to go for a hero play right here, but when he gets drowned out, he's done for. What's up?
Guess what, Uzu?
What's up?
There's no Wamai.
There is no Wamai, even though he's not banned. It's I don't know. It's interesting. The site, from what I believe, yeah, it's gonna be upstairs inside a cache server. So I'm not so sure why Goria is rotating down into the basement, possibly just trying to rotate over to blue and play with Ben, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
And try to rotate over to secret. But Ben, for the time being, he's going to utilize the shotgun holes, and PK already has info on where the Malusi is.
Yeah, this round's perplexing. PK's able to find Ben. That's gonna be Ben dead, uncontested. Okay, interesting. That's gonna be the Jaeger gone. Goria's the only one really else that's roaming. Gonna be down in basement. Maybe if someone wants to magically go into dirt, that would be interesting. I don't really see the Malusi being in play for the next, say, minute or 45 seconds or so, but otherwise it's gonna be the rest of the attackers just kind of storming on in, brigading their own style, but oh, I just got some terrible news. The Casting in Russian award has been redeemed. Let me know which round you want to cast. Ferme is going to be casting in Russian. Well, already, I think we're seeing a lot of rushing rounds from first attempt. So I would say next round, I think we should let Ferme have the floor. First round in the second half, why not, right?
What are you, Finn? Hello?
Yeah,
I don't think he knows where to position himself.
I wouldn't either.
Oh, man. The player on top of red is going to get lit up, and Spin's going to pick off Flint. So 48 seconds to go, and another one onto Casper. Good night before he finally gets shut down by PK, who will equalize and has been the hero for first attempt so far alongside Jewel. So PK and Jewel have really been outstanding here. An impact charge is going to come out. I think that might have been able to get PK's his X Kairos. And it looks to be that stuns are coming in from Jewel as well. He has both impacts remaining in his arsenal to use. There's 20 seconds to go. The utility usage isn't really there for first attempt, and this is most likely going to be a 3-3 split, especially given that we had someone disconnect which I just realized an Evil Clouds is going to lock it down. Yeah, the first attempt just looked lost that entire round. Well, not the entire round, just in the final minute of play. And what a shot from Clouds. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
I thought Finn too. I mean, I thought he did a great job too with his double kill, and then he got immediately traded off. But otherwise, what was going on with Ben?
I don't think he knew that he was going to get traded. Or not traded, I'm sorry. I don't think he knew that he was aware of being seen. And
That's
even then, you just don't play in stock and look at the hatch that way. You play the stage, and if you're gonna make shotgun holes, you put them on the floor, so that way you can head glitch and make it harder for your opponents to hit you. Like I just see a lot of like fundamental things that are wrong with Emergence, and it's really interesting to me to see them draw on that first half with first attempt.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised one way or another went to a 3-3 split. I really thought First Attempt seems to have much more control over what they want to do in terms of their execution. Emergence is a different story at times, I would say, especially on the defense. It's very awkward to say because normally it's the attackers who become more and more lost as the game goes on, or at least their strategies get shut down sooner. But it was Emergence instead going for these interesting operator selections that we normally do see, yes, but there's usually just like missing one ingredient. It's like trying to make pancakes with just flour and water. You just have a floury, watery mess on your stove.
Yeah,
You're
you don't
missing
have
the
any
egg.
mix.
Yeah, you don't have the mix, you don't have the eggs, you don't have anything. And that is what Emergence is missing. First attempt, they have almost all the ingredients, but they're just missing the eggs there at times. Or maybe they have some shells in the eggs.
Possibly. This round right here was really interesting to me for Emergence. They set up to play cash, and then the Wamai just did not play cash at all. He mostly played construction, which I don't know if that's the strat necessarily for Emergence, but clearly, something went wrong there for Emergence here, and they just got picked apart piece by piece. I think they only got one pick that entire round, and yeah, this right here from Move should have been a frag, and then he just gets shot from logistics because there's just too many angles for him to worry about. Because you have to worry about the window from highway, you have to worry about logistics from the hole that you created, and you also have to worry about construction. There's just way too many angles for one person to watch in that given time, and especially the control that got taken from first attempt here. And with this play from Goria and Evil Clouds, it only works if you're able to have intel or if you know where the default spots are at. And then the C4s, they just came out way too late.
Yeah, kind of late fireworks coming out from the defense. It was just a really rough round for not even both teams, just mostly for Emergence. They both had some very rough games so far, but hopefully in the second half they're on their more comfortable sides for each team and we can see maybe a huge disparity, or maybe we can continue on seeing it in overtime.
We could go to overtime, given that it was a 3-3 split, but now we're going to be having Emergence moving over to the defense. I'm sorry, to the attack, because they were on defense. This split honestly could have been 4-2 in favor of first attempt. And I don't know. There was just a couple of things that went awry there for first attempt with their executes. Like that last round, they started off pretty okay. They equalized to a 3v3, and then when it came time for the execute, they just had nothing to show for. They had nothing to really answer back with. I think this round went in the favor of Emergence, if I'm not. No, this round was a 4v2 for first attempt. That right there from Flinty's, I don't know. This shot right here was really crucial from Jewel, though. If he doesn't get that kill on the Wamai, I don't know if Casper's able to pull out the 1v4. And given that there was a minute 45, and you have 5 players dead, you have a 4v2 with a minute 45. Ben doesn't need to be peeking that. Just rotate into cash, rotate into construction, go somewhere safe, play the 4v2 with your teammates, play the crossfires. There's just a lot of fundamentals that are just missing here from what's it called? Emergence. And then that kill right here onto the mute, that's who it was. That equalizes things. And I don't know if I'm pretty sure there was a drone. I'm 100%. I'm 99% sure there was a drone sitting in logistics there. This round here should have been Emergence's hands down, but the play from Evil Clouds here, yeah, from Evil, very, very big, highly misplayed.
Yeah, I can definitely see what he was trying to go for. He wanted to play it sneaky, maybe try to run out the timer. Definitely not the best idea, but even then, just try to get a more better angle than what he could have in the initial pick. The initial pick was a decent angle. He could have gotten, especially as a Jaeger, but unfortunately not going to happen. Maybe in a different reality. We are still waiting for all the players to get into the lobby, though. I think we are going to have our lead producer, Freme, come in and cast one of these rounds in completely Russian. I'm not sure if that's going to be a tri-cast or if one of us is going to be booted out for a round while that goes on. But Uzu, do you want to cast with the Russian or should I cast with the Russian?
Sure. I'll cast with the Russian. I mean, I play a lot of Tarkov, so I should
yeah.
have some knowledge.
I have zero knowledge.
Is that how it is? Is that how we treat it? Play Tarkov?
Just like Tarkov? Yeah, sure. You can be killer.
It's like Dora the Explorer for Russian. Everyone's a swiper, though.
There's I just know, like, you know, just the scav lines. That's pretty much it.
I've never played Tarkov once in my life.
It's a fun game. It's definitely difficult to get into at first if you've never played hardcore shooters. It's kind of like Arma, but not really. Like, it doesn't have like the awkward movement of Arma. The engine that it's on is the Unity engine, and it's a looter shooter, and it's like a battle royale too. If I've had to describe it. It feels like a battle royale because there's a certain amount of players that go into a map, and you know how many players are well, at least PMCs, and then you have AI opponents, which are the scavs, and then on top of that, you can spawn in as a player scav where you control a scav that spawns in the map, and you just go around, try to find loot, see if you can kill some raiders or players, and see what you can come out with. That's pretty much it. A scav, so it's a scavenger. So there are these so Tarkov is like this dystopian type Russia, and there's this research. Yeah,
dystopian.
Yeah, kind of.
That's real Russia, dude.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me, man.
Yeah, but it's actually real Russia.
Yeah.
There's no difference.
So it's like the citizens of Tarkov have become something's happened. There's like a conflict between the Americans and the Russians, and the Americans are called USEX, and they're coming. So Tarkov has this lore also on their YouTube channel where it shows the Americans are just like trashing and just like wrecking everything that this research group called Terra Group has been doing, and they're just like trying to like get rid of like any evidence, I guess, that they were ever there. And the Russians are seen as the good guys in this story. So if you so the series is called Raid. It's a fun series to watch, and it's all in Russian, and you can they have English subtitles with it too, and the production value is insane for an indie dev. And this is all like out of St. Petersburg, Russia, from an indie developer called Battlestate Games. It's so much fun. I love that game, but sometimes I hate it. like this so they don't have seasons, they have wipes, and every like 6 to 7 months they wipe the game, and everyone gets reset, like all their stats, all their gear, everything that they own, everything that they know is reset, outside of like the weapon presets they have and whatever they've searched throughout the raids. And they're always adding new stuff. It's a lot of fun to play, in my opinion. It's a grind, especially like if you don't know. And one thing to know about Tarkov is that your ammo is always better than your gun. Yeah, because the type of ammo that you use in the gun, it depends on whether it's more flesh damage or armor damage, and then you depending on what you use and depending on what you can afford, then there's like a chart that someone's made with all the ammo, and yeah. Are the players in the lobby?
At this point, we should just show the chart on screen.
This right here from Moved. That right there. Oh my
we're good.
god.
We're just not good.
That right there.
I
That
forgot I was
irked
grasping
me.
for a second.
That
I
irked
rem-
me. I forgot that we were in the middle of a rehost. I'm just talking Tarkov
Y-
here.
Oh no, we're
you just-
chilling.
yeah.
Just
we're
one
just
of the one of the guys' power went out, so we're just
Oh,
waiting
someone's
on.
power went out.
Yeah, so
Nice.
they're using their maximum allowed time for a rehost until they can, come back.
I've had that happen. I've had power being lost
Yeah, so
on me.
we could see a 4v5 unfortunately if they can't come back, but
Yeah, but we could very well see a 4v5 right now. If not, we're gonna see 4v5. I mean, there's not much we can do unless he does magically come back from his power being lost. Did you know, actually, yesterday I had lightning strike right down the street from me. I felt like a ripple come through my house. Isn't that crazy?
damn dude.
I don't know, sound? Lightning? Maybe I got struck, I don't know. But yeah, it was really raining and then it was like and like I felt it, man. I saw the sound waves.
Yeah.
Just give me a second, boys. I just want to check if I appear on stream. 1 second.
Last month we had an earthquake in Rhode Island for the first time in like a century.
Nice. An
Yeah.
earthquake in Rhode Island?
Yeah, right? Right?
What?
Yeah, well, it was off the coast. Excuse me, it was off the coast of Massachusetts, like in the water, and like we felt it a little bit. Grandma,
Okay.
Grandma!
Webcam time.
Bring
Hey.
her on. Come on, Uzu.
What?
Bring Grandma in.
It was my mom.
Oh, okay, even better. Bring her in.
No.
Co-cast.
All right, but we will be going back into the game pretty soon. I'm not sure how the cast is gonna go with the Russian casting as
yeah,
well.
the Russian.
We're gonna
It's
play
for
it by
elites.
ear. I don't. We'll be firm, we'll be playing it by ear. I'm not really sure how this is gonna go. This is definitely not scripted, or maybe it is. Whatever. I lost the script.
Yeah, definitely
in the
not
earthquake.
scripted.
I lost in the earthquake.
It's okay, man. Здравствуйте, здравствуйте всем. С вами Фермей из России. Только 4 человека остались на оранжевой команде. И синих только 5. То есть один человек не смог реконнектиться к этой игре. То есть поэтому мы будем видеть только 4 защищающихся оператора. И у нас есть Егер, Мелюсий, Бандит и Смок. Тоже нормальная...
I knew what that meant.
Конечно, потому что в России нету... когда идет... Cash. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good drop. И мы идем на... Понимаешь, когда идет кастинг на русском языке, нету...
No, hear him out. He's got some good points going on.
Да, конечно. Понимаешь, когда ты начинаешь кастить по-русски, надо понимать, как разные операторы называются. Обычно нету у них своего русского имени, потому что используются просто американские версии. Даже когда ты играешь на русском языке в игру, там все американские операторы написаны на английском языке. Нету возможности их перевести на русский. А только 4 оператора остаются, но все равно 10 Oh my... See, here's the problem. Here's the big problem. Is I've been casting in English for so long, and now I need to transition to Russian. And I don't know the words for a wall. You think it's an easy word, and then you're trying to say a wall, and you don't know how to say it. Ну, конечно, о чем ты думаешь? Только 4 осталось человека на этом раунде. Кег, какие у тебя, получается, события будут?
No, I completely agree with you, Ferme. Yeah, I completely agree. So we do see Flimty right now. He's going to be playing in Generator Room, and that's going to be a really interesting position that we normally had seen from Emergence on their own defense before. A very aggressive kind of style, but Ferme, take it away, man. Tell us what's going to happen next with this first opening pick.
Каспер, бандиту, может попасть на одного, убил одного, но даже рефраг очень быстро происходит. И остается только 4 человека на синей стороне. Тут и 4-1 умер с каждой стороны, поэтому ничего практически не происходит. Но термит первый упал, это очень плохо для атаки, потому что у них нету больше людей, которые могут разбивать сильные стены. Но Гория получает еще один... килл для себя, еще одно убийство, элиминация, если хотите сказать немного политически корректными вариантами, но остались только 2 человека, и Мелуси и Смок могут все равно выиграть этот раунд, если они будут работать вместе. Хотя остаются 2 оператора, это Хибан и Эс, которые могут стены разрушить. Флинтис получает свою элиминацию он получил. Остается только 3 человека, поэтому тоже я вам говорил вам то, что если 2 человека останутся и не смогут просто разбираться друг с другом, могут общаться правильно, потенциально могут получить этот раунд для себя. А еще получает 2 против 2. Но Пикей не сможет стоять на своих ногах слишком долго. Остается только Флинтис для себя. И теперь он медленно идет по этим ступенькам. Наверное, сможет поднять своего брата Пикей обратно от другой матери. Бен уже ставит свою бомбу. И не получается. Evil Clouds. Смотри на себя, красавчик. Джиги там растет. Получает оба килла для себя. Оба. И I think I hope I did a good job. Of course, I haven't.
Well, to be fair, it's a 5v4 for me. I don't think that's fair for the people that redeem the points. I think you have to go for another round.
Yeah, I think we need to go for another round. But I think Uzu is back and he is ready to take it over. Thank you so much, Leeds. I'm glad that you redeemed it, but my time's over. I need to go back.
We need one more round. We need one more Russian.
Nah. It's one round, dude. It's one round.
I think we need one more to
It's hard, man. I came unprepared, man. I came unprepared, okay?
Well, I thought you did.
I forgot how to say wall in Russian, man.
You learned how to say wall.
Stena, okay, stena. That's how you say it.
Well, there you go. You know how to say
That's
wall.
how you say it.
Do another round.
Alright, I have not rehearsed this bit.
I haven't rehearsed it either. I'm going into this blind. You can do it. No, oh, well, he muted himself, so I think that's a fair no. Well, Uzu, it looks like we are back.
I believe so.
Yes. Okay, well, back to things anyways. So we did have some beautiful play-by-play and analysis coming out from our one and only Ferme, but we're back into the American world? Whatever. We're back into normal casting mode now. We do see a huge roam. Defense, it seems like, coming out of CCTV again. I'm sorry, no, I apologize. Church again, because they had previously lost defense. Yes. But here's my big thing, though, is that we have the sister rivalry on both teams. We do see Flinties on the Ela pick, and we're just saying completely goodbye to all of the anchor defenders. Instead, we're just going full on roam.
Flinties is going to be pulling out the Ela shotgun. I'm curious as to how he's going to try to make this work, given the range that he'll be trying to utilize. I don't think that...
Oh, but he makes it work twice! Oh my god! Okay, that's a double kill from Flinties, making it work. I mean, I think anything's just about a possibility at this point. You know, any preconception, excuse me, we had for Siege beforehand have just been thrown out the window. This is Cold War at this point. This is the new Call of Duty.
I mean,
body shots are not allowed.
That's kind of what the meta is going to be coming into, as it is the next meta, in my opinion, with the changes that are coming in. It's not going to be as utility dependent.
You know, I've always been really hesitant to guess what the next meta is going to be. Normally because I'm wrong, but I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like the test server doesn't really tell us a lot, and we just have to kind of really wait until we can fully embrace ourselves in. But Flinty's still out looking for blood, trying to find where anyone can be, but with an even 3v3, everyone on the attack is just playing it as slow as humanly as possible. Yeah.
Good job.
What's going on?
I think they might have been flustered by that 2K from Flinties, if I had to guess. They've lost both their hard breachers, which makes this really difficult, especially if Clouds hasn't been able to open up any of the hatches. From the looks of it now, no one on Emergence is going to get this hatch open if they're... Well, never mind. I stand corrected because PK has already utilized both of his impacts. So I thought there was going to be some impact tricking going on, but Flinties didn't use the shotgun to make rotates. They instead used impacts to make rotates. Goria is going to get absolutely fried by PK. And now you got 50 seconds left. Flanks coming in. This should be an easy pick. And a great job from Flinties and PK as well. One up above, one down below on the bomb site. And first attempt in a 4v5 off the back of Flinties and PK. What a shot. What a hipfire kill.
Yeah,
And
that was
Ashes gets absolutely smoked.
that was a really nice 3K coming out from Flinties. That was impressive. And we were talking about the Ella shotgun before he got that opening pick. How it maybe was an okay choice, but again, time after time, it seems Uzu, we're just painfully proven wrong in this set because everything that I think we've predicted has pretty much gone awry, and we're just seeing so much aggression coming up from both sides of the defense. It's unparalleled, I would say, to a lot of T3 teams.
Yeah, if first attempt end up coming out victorious on this, I wouldn't be too surprised. I mean, it'd be a nice, like, you know, accomplishment for them to do this in a 4v5, but I don't know. Just the way that Emergence plays, I just, even if Bait was here, I would still go with first attempt 100%.
Yeah, first attempt has just been being really solid all the way through. So far, they've won 100% of their defenses, which is, you know, just one defense. But we are seeing a little bit more structure coming out, even in a 4v5. We see the Wamai coming out. No castle, but we do see a lot of the other defenders, especially the mainstay between both being that Legion and Uzu, you had some comments about Legion earlier about how it might not be the best choice. Would you still prefer Legion now over Castle, or I'm sorry, Castle over Legion in this 4v5?
I mean, at this point, you kind of just have to go for broke if you're first attempt, because you're playing a 4v5. You need to fight for that opening pick, and fighting gunfights with the UMP isn't always ideal, no matter what situation you're in. So, I think that Jewel is mostly just trying to utilize the T5 here more than anything, and trying to utilize those Legion mines for intel and just bring annoyance onto the attacking side of things. For right now, for first attempt, they just pretty much just need to fight for time and fight for that opening pick to equalize here, because they're in a pretty tough spot. The spawn site isn't favored by most teams, if any team, really. Joel's gonna be sitting inside of logistics right now, just going back and forth between the hatch and the doorway, peeking from the hatch as well as over towards the jacuzzi wall. Flinties right now is gonna be inside of CCTV, looking over towards highway. He has a bullet hole to work around and look over to highway if anyone's gonna be there. He has an opportunity here, but does he see the Zofia? Or actually the Hibana? Oh, does the Hibana even see him?
Doesn't look like he's being seen. Flinty's still holding this small little bullet angle, waiting to see
Oh.
that. There it is. It's going to be blown away like it's nothing. Flinty's able to find Ben, evening out the 4v4, but is that going to be really enough? Moved might have the angle on one more defender, but they're going to rotate out through Jim. Instead, it's going to be Evil Clouds finding Casper, and everything they fought for in the beginning is slowly going down the drain. If Goria is able to find another one, that could be huge, but they're going to back off instead, and the damage has already been done. You've lost your one main anchor, and now all the other attackers are swarming on in. It was 3v3 again, Uzu, but again, you have to wonder, was taking down in Hibana Zofia enough, or will this aggression go into the favor of first attempt?
Well, you have no more nades for Finn. You have no flashbangs because for some reason Move decided to bring a Claymore. And your only projectiles are going to be the smokes from the Ace. And now there's going to be a lot of intel moving on to Moved. And now the player sitting inside of Master is going to die here, as well as Evil Cloud's able to pick off Jules. So now you're leaving it all on Flinties to clutch up here in a 1v3. He'll find one and finds two. Finding a triple kill. He'll need the quad kill here. Shots coming in outside of Highway from Finn. He'll rotate over towards Jim, but the window wasn't opened. There's 20 seconds left to go. The diffuser needs to be picked up, and now, for some reason, Finn's gonna rotate over towards Jacuzzi. Okay. Flinty's gonna be having the option to rotate down the main stairs and force Finn to grab that diffuser. But now the intel is gonna be all on him, as he's not even gonna go for Sledgehammer away the bubble.
You got a plan,
2
buddy.
seconds left to go. He's not even gonna plant. He's gonna fight for frag, and for some reason doesn't even attempt to go for the plan as Flinties moves up the main stairs. Just wow, this is some pretty bad siege from Emergence. Like they don't look like they're a unit. They're all just dying without any trade potential. Granted, the Hibana died in a way where you couldn't really get traded, but man, if he had just pulled the trigger just a few seconds earlier when he was looking at the window, he would have bagged and tagged that Jaeger and that would have been the end of that round.
Yeah. So that was certainly around Uzu. It's one of those moments where you always feel like as a caster you know exactly what at least you should say, but I think I'm left speechless here.
Speechless is one thing to say for sure. Yeah. If you want to be nice.
I mean, by all means, vent away.
I mean, am I allowed to curse?
Probably within
I don't think I am. Within
your grandma
reasons.
the next room over. Whatever you can say to her, you can say on here.
Yeah, I don't think she would appreciate that. But man, Emergence just don't look smart. In all honesty, I'm still confused as to why Moved has yet to switch away from Claymore to flashbangs. I don't know what the Claymore is for. If you're wanting to run Claymore, bring a Nomad. And I mean, I guess you don't necessarily need to bring that many flashbangs because you only bring a Jaeger, and I don't know if first attempt are really utilizing the strategy that they're using. Because at this point right now, for first attempt, my honest thinking is just that they're just trying to go for the opening pick and equalize and try to get the momentum on their side, which they've been pretty good at doing so. I'm surprised that Flinty isn't shooting off the X-Kairos, and he shoots too late. He's only able to pick off 3 of them. But I don't know if anyone in Emergence is aware that Flinty's is all the way over at Strip.
I think the Hibana's aware now. When we see them with the diffuser in hand, no less, trying to seemingly hunt down Flinties and where they could possibly be, that could leave the Hibana by themselves. They are going to rotate back. They got their sense of mind back to rotate back with their teammates, and Flinties is going to be left out without finding any frags, but I have a good feeling we might see a jump out from one location or another in Flinty's possession, and there we go from Stockroom. You can already see it prepped up. It's going to be a matter of who is going to swing out first, but already the pre-fire shots are made. The Z-Ping is out, the drone following Flinties. They're going to make a tactical retreat, but they've been shot through the floor. That's Son of Finn finding Flinties, and that's the end of that small little saga for this round.
Yeah. I think Flint should have just ran away. Or if anything, possibly try to maybe hide inside a stock. And, I don't know, maybe fight for a pick or two. If anything, try to rotate over towards kitchen because that's a really dangerous move if you already have someone in blue, which I don't think anyone on first attempt, especially Flinties, knew that there was anyone in blue because he was getting pressured from the Zofia who was repelled outside of stock. But other than that, he had no idea where else the attack was coming from. So you've already rotated the Valkyrie down below to try to stop this thermite, or to try to stop this plant from going down. So Casper right now, he's in a pretty weird situation. C4 is going to bag 1. That's Goria down for the count. Now the Jaeger is going to be rotating, or is still going to be playing on top of those red stairs. Jules going to be playing down below with the C4. Since Casper has already bagged Goria here, there's not much really needed from him for the rest for that. The plant is coming down. It's not even being stopped. You have a player still sitting inside a stock as Casper is able to find one onto moved here. And the Valkyrie will die here before PK trades it out, but you got the player on Raptors fighting for that trade as well. Casper on low HP, 1 shot left. He's got to find 1 on the Raptors and 1 possibly rotating up the main stairs, if I had to say. I don't think Casper is aware of where this Hibana is playing. She's prone. She's shooting some bullets. The Tracer's coming out, but Casper isn't able to react in time. And the round goes over into Emergence. And in all honesty, first attempt shouldn't even be getting close to winning rounds because they're playing a 4v5. They're playing, I mean, you know, it is defense, but still that bomb site, even with 5 people up, is pretty difficult to hold for a lot of teams if they don't know what they're doing. And first attempts, you know, they tried to go for that opening pick, and they didn't even get it because they had Flinties die in the opening part, and then everything just came from trades. And then you had the C4 down below. You had the 1 player still sitting inside of blue. Everything just fell apart for first attempt there. So moving into round number 11, we will be needing all 12 rounds to play out this match. We'll have Flinty switch over from Malusi to Ella. Most likely going to be bringing out the shotgun, if I had to say. That's the same exact setup that he pulled out the last time that we came to this bomb site.
I'm just surprised it's an even 5v5 so far. There are so many things that we have spotted, and I'm sure there's even more nuanced things our analysis will let us know about between all of these rounds that have just been perplexing, absolutely perplexing for both teams. I'm surprised Emergence barely won that round. It came pretty close, all things considered, a 2v1 no less. But first attempt almost made a valiant comeback, and you're completely right, Uzu. We may very well see overtime here today, but I would say this round here is the most important round we'll see in the entire set, because this will determine whether or not we go to overtime. Now, normally I say that, and it's a decently big deal, but this is a huge deal of whether or not we can see one team steal this away 7-5, or if this shenanigans game will continue on into overtime, could possibly forever.
It's possible. It's definitely possible. So now in round number 11, you have a basement defense. You have Flinty's currently playing in blue. PK roaming up top and bar, so you only have 2 members really on the bomb side. And PK and Flinty are rotating around stage and stocks. Moved should have an opportunity here to find where PK is currently at. They've left the blue hatch soft.
Oh, but already some shots are coming out though, Uzu. It's gonna be Flinty's taking some damage, but he's rotated way far away from anybody and anything. He's got the shotgun though, so keep in mind he could go below from the kitchen and maybe find some frags, but you gotta know already that Emergence have to know what's going on there. They have to know about the shotgun at this point. That's gonna be kitchen hatch open too. No impact grenades gonna be going through. But excuse me. It is just an absolute struggle, especially on Flinty's end. What we're watching is a very interesting and almost concerning roam game.
I am struggling to figure out what exactly is happening in this round. Ben doesn't even seem to be aware that there's a player above him. And
Running
PK is
around.
rotating, yeah, PK is rotating up the main stairs, and they have a lot of intel on people inside a kitchen from what it looks like. But right now, Casper and Joel just need to hold the line here and hold the fort. You have 2 members pushing in from dirt, which Casper is going to have to deal with sooner or later. And the Zofia is starting to crawl their way in, snake their way, but eventually decides to push against it. It's actually going to be the Hibana. Move tossing in some flashbangs, burning out the ADSs laid out by Casper previously in the round. And Casper's going to get the opening pick here on some Moose, so he will equalize, but I don't think he's aware of another player sitting inside of dirt. This could be detrimental here, as Gory is able to find one. The shotgun comes big here, as Flinty's aware of the person right outside of the freezer. Evil Clouds, for the time being, is looking to be rotating to dirt as well. And I think Flinty's is aware that he has... No, he does not have the diffuser. I think Flinty's might have thought he had the diffuser. And Nade's going to come in, and Finn's going to be able to get the advantage here onto PK. So now this leaves Jewel in a 1v2, possibly a 1v3 on the bomb side, because you have Flinty's up above. This is looking really dire here as the Zofia starts to peek in. He'll lose the gunfight versus the Valkyrie, pushing into Church as PK is not... I'm sorry, Joel's not able to find that frag. Flinty is able to find one, will die here. 10 seconds to go. And the diffuser goes down. This is really big here. And Finn will finally equalize here. These rounds are just way too close. And they have no business being this close.
Yeah, they really don't, and I'm not really sure why operators or players like Flinty's are just going unchecked the entirety of these rounds. Ben should have known from the very beginning, once he was inside kitchen, that there was someone right above him. Flinty's easily could have shot down below, gotten the kill, and just been done with it, but no, he waited till the end of the round, which in of itself was pretty weird to see, but otherwise, I just... You know, we go to analysis school, we go to casting school and all that stuff, Uzu, but nothing prepares you for this. It's like when you're a first grade teacher, you learn everything you can about how to take care of a child and teach them. But when that child comes up and hands you an assignment with the messiest handwriting you've ever seen, you have no idea how to interpret it. I don't know how to interpret this, and I have a feeling our analysts might struggle a little bit too, as talented as they are. Right now, we're on potentially match point between Emergence and First Attempt, and there hasn't been a round besides round number 1. The very first round of this game has been a huge shutout. Other rounds, every other one, have been ridiculously close and frankly, for almost no reason. But we have seen this same setup before from First Attempt. They brought out those same 4 operators, and they lost this round. Sure, they're a man down, Uzu, but even then, they lost it. And I have a feeling we may see a 7-5 here.
It's very doable. will be moving into gym bedroom, and there's going to be no play inside of cache whatsoever. They're going to completely reinforce it off.
Yep.
So this 4v5 here is going to be very crucial for first attempt. Obviously, that's a given, but
Oh, Flinties, what are you doing, bud? He's waiting outside Stripper. He's gonna wait and see if anyone's gonna peek on by. He hears the repel of not one, but probably two, but especially gonna be hearing Son of Finn. Now there's gonna be another one that walks on by very laggily at that. If Flinty takes too much time, he might miss the repel run-out kill onto the Hibana. That could be potentially two. He can find a Jacuzzi. But Flinty, now we want to keep an eye on him. He goes for the run-out. Can he find him? No! He misses both. He sees the shots of the thermite a little bit, but he misses the shot. Oh, Flinties, you had one job. You've been so good up until now. But you missed the shots on 3 different people in the best case scenario. Uzu, why?
I think because if he just moves back just a little bit, he's able to pick out the Hibana on repel there. Obviously, that's what we can tell. He didn't know that. They had no intel, because their only intel is just going to be with Casper's Evil Eyes. There's no Valkyrie being brought here, which I think possibly could be working in favor if they traded it out from the Legion. But I think the Legion is just being brought here just for audio intel rather than visual intel. Flinties is still going to be sitting inside a strip, trying to fight for his life from what it seems. So that leaves basically a 3v5 here on the bomb site. So Flinties just has to be really careful with how he progresses back to the bomb site. Some shots through the drone hole from what it looks to be coming out from PK. Tagging up Ben just a little bit. Jewel is still rotating in and out of construction and logistics. And Jewel will be taking a lot of damage and finally downed. I don't know where that gunfight came from, possibly from how Zofia is going to be reloading. And now Flinties is going to have to make an opportune move here, and PK is going to lose the gunfight. There's a lot of evidence here coming out from the Jaeger. He turns away! What are you doing, Goria? Oh my god. He had the right plan, the right move the entire time. But now Finn's going to be able to get the pick here, possibly onto Casper. He'll light him up just a tad bit. Now that PK has been picked back up, the plant's already going to be successful here. Finn's able to take care of Flinty. You have one right outside a highway, PK, and that's going to be Jewel going down. Flinty's dies here as well. It's all on Casper in a 1v4 here. Takes one down, turning into a 1v3. But you have one member to find inside of logistics and half a minute to find that diffuser and get these remaining members down and out of the count. So now Casper is trying to push up here, trying to see what he can find. But he'll find he shoots the legs? Okay, I think he might have been expecting someone to be repelled there. Evil Clouds is there to lock it down, and first attempt. Their first round here, finally, after a 4v5, the first round in this 4v5 that didn't look close at all. And that's how it should have been from the start of the 4v5 for Emergence.
Uzu, I don't know what just happened, man.
I think if Bait's here, this is a completely different story. And if Bait is able to play out this match, he just, it's a fifth member. It's one more body that you have to work with, and it's more utility that you have to use at your at your arsenal. Unfortunately for Bait, I think his power went out from what I heard, or his internet went out, one of the two, or possibly both, because your internet's affected by your power. But
yes.
Yeah, just really unfortunate there for first attempt, and I think that if they do have Bait, they take that one home without a doubt.
Fair enough, but let's see what the analysts have to say, because I'm sure this will be one fine festive feast for them to dig themselves into. Analysts, are you guys ready? Hello?
Oh, hello, Cake. Thank you so much for passing it on over. You did a wonderful job to start things off. And hello, also, Mr. Jay-Z down there below me, my friend. Welcome our first Analyst Desk appearance. Well, it's great to have you.
It is great to be here, Chief, and it's great to go over this pretty interesting game we got in front of us. It's unfortunate for sure for first attempt that they lost Bait, and like Keg said, I mean, I really think this would have gone down differently. We saw them actually get a good bit of traction in those closing rounds. We actually saw them take 2 of them, even in that 5v4 situation. So you got to give it up to them for a job well done, a match well fought. But in the end, being down a man, it's just not an advantage you're going to be able to overcome.
So I started to highlight this round simply for this play by Finn. He is forced out of cash box very quickly because they didn't reinforce cash appropriately. This south wall is left open. That means you can't defend all of the windows from a safe distance, forcing him to rotate away. He was trying to go in through Logi, which was already opened up by the defenders. Gore was holding that hard-held position, but they didn't want it double stacked. He also had that crossfire from above the garage, as well as he thought somebody over by highway. Now, that wasn't the case, but you just see them making a little bit of micro adjustment mistakes there. If they're able to actually land those reinforcements, it would have changed the entire scope of the round. And something that we missed off camera, that was a 5-man spawn peak. And I will leave it there with that one. This round could have been completely brilliant if maybe one of those 5 members flying out a window was able to find an impact frag.
Yeah, we've seen that early aggression from both of these teams come out in really a big force. It hasn't been all that successful every single time, but you know, they're trying, and they're really trying to swing these angles. And you know, when we get to take a look at our next round in a few moments here, round number 4, I mean, it's really about that aggression coming out from these teams. It's just a game right now of swing or be swung. Clubhouse is usually a strat heavy map. Usually there's a lot of focus put into exactly what you're going to bring to the table, whether you're going to do, you know, SSG style roam, what kind of setup are you going to bring down? But we haven't really seen a lot of that tonight so far. It's really been just 1v1 gunfights after 1v1 gunfights, followed by, get this, a couple more 1v1 gunfights. And whoever is coming out of those gunfights ahead is winning the round. It's as simple as that. And so there have been a couple of rounds where someone like Jewel, who just frags out just ridiculously, and of course, first attempt, they're going to win those rounds because it's just those 1v1s that it's coming down to.
Yeah, and we see this time and time again where teams are constantly utilizing their aggression dial and basically breaking the dial, turning it up to 6,000, and then they have nothing else to do because they have no strategy, because their strategy doesn't fit aggression dial 6,000. So we need everybody to start turning things down just a little bit, please. Now, Emergence is a team that was known for being very structured and fitting, almost rigid. And they've definitely tried to change that. Maybe they've changed it a little bit too much, where they're now too aggressive, or they're costing their players their lives based off micro positioning and based off very silly mistakes. Just like what happened in round number 1. Finn's bad rotate could have been saved by 2 good reinforcements and, well, that micro or that aggression dial being cranked down just a little bit.
Well, the aggression dial not cranked down in round number 4. This is probably the biggest, you know, example of this meta. We're gonna see Ben here get a couple outside this rotate, and check this right now. He's about to look out this rotate. We see a player on the drone who just gets taken out. I mean, this moment was a hilarious one to watch, but really was an embodiment of the meta that's coming to this particular game. Let's just frag out. Let's just storm in there and pick heads, because that is what both teams are trying to do here. And the rounds that are actually being won really are just which player is popping off just a little bit more.
And I think we call it a 360 meta, where, you know, you just move your mouse around and, you know, just snap to somebody's head. Now, Emergence has the man advantage in this round. They need to play off that man advantage, and that's where things start to go haywire. They put somebody over in a Logi with a few bullet holes, but light goes against them, or you can see the light actually filtering through that top hatch, and the gradient difference between the face behind those 2 bullet holes is enough to get a free kill. Now your man advantage is a disadvantage, or technically an equal advantage, and you're not able to play with those crossfires as well. You still know they're going to be coming out of a fatal funnel. You should be looking more or less in that direction, but they don't, once again, coordinate amongst themselves and try to play it as individuals, and they just get bullied by a player like Jewel, who's just mechanically gifted.
Well, that particular round was one of the few examples we've seen refrags actually come out. We saw a beautiful refrag there from Jewel onto the Mozzie playing on main stairs, and a missed opportunity from the Jaeger to swing behind that bathroom wall and also go for that refrag. And as such, Jewel was presented with 2 1v1s, and Jewel is tonight just simply better. Just a player you cannot beat in a 1v1 gunfight. And so Jules stormed in there and took those picks. But we're going to head over to round number 9. This is one of those rounds that, well, unfortunately for first attempt, they are down a player. But this is actually one of those rounds that they won. And the entire time it was going back and forth, it looked like Emergence had that advantage. But we see here as the clock is whittling on down, not a lot of progress has been made. I mean, Emergence really struggled just getting into the building on this one. The 20-second meta really came into play on this particular bomb site. We see some early aggression from Flinties, which is just going to pay off here on that 51 window here in CCTV. But that really was answered back by Emergence, and then it came down to some clutch play.
And more bullet holes. We see a failed bullet hole attempt early on, and then here, round number 9, we see a brilliantly successful one. And the defenders are going to try to participate in their own mini games, making sure the attackers are never going to be able to actually open up this back wall. And, well, those impact grenades pre-set up are a great way of doing so. And just because you're a man down doesn't mean your strategy should be going out the window. Rely on strategy first, mechanical skill second. I didn't want to really highlight the fact that Bait did drop out because we know the outcome of this series. It's a 7-5. But I have to say, first attempt playing at that man disadvantage still won my heart.
Yeah, I mean, we know how important round differential here is in this overall standings and is factoring into SCS. So no doubt that is why, I mean, first attempt are fighting for their absolute lives here. They're still going to sweat hard and make sure they can do this one. And that's exactly what Flinties did here. Both of his teammates just got taken out. And now it is a 1 versus 3. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to do much, but they lined up for him here. He was going to be able to take out that 2. And it came down to a 1v1. And without the diffuser, Son of Finn, he really couldn't do much to get that diffuser back and retain that advantage. Flinties here played really smart. But, I mean, that is what we saw in that second half when they were down a man. You see some early aggression, you know, matched with, you know, maybe being a little more passive in the mid-round for first attempt. But in a 5v4 at this caliber of Siege, you're never going to be able to take more than a couple of rounds, maybe some fluke rounds. I mean, that's what Flinties did here with the clock running out on him there. But overall, you know, it was a great performance from Emergence, but I do like what Keg said. It would have gone differently for sure had that man advantage not been the way it was.
And honestly, remember, when you have the man advantage, utilize that as an asset in your arsenal. You know that he's somewhere over on the gym side. Brilliant. You set up your crossfires or execute. Your other option is planning over by Logi and the closet rotate. And, well, Flinties is not going to leave. He's going to either drop the hatch, which you'll get the call for him. And sure, he technically has left. You're correct. But you'll know that he's coming up a different staircase. So you just turn your gun barrels. The fact that they just lined up and pushed in with their drone economy still in their back pocket is a huge mistake. Emergence, they're trying to play very aggressive. I accept that. But remember, just adjust your dial a little bit. Utilize the tools you have available to you because that's how you're successful.
Yeah, and Emergence did seem to struggle with that. I mean, I like that you pointed that out. They didn't really, you know, duo push in those angles and find those refrags or do exactly what they could have exploited a lot better. But at the end of the day, it's 7-5. They took the map win, and that's all they really needed. And we're taking a look at round 5. This was another one of those rounds that on that first half before the man advantage switched around where Jewel was insane. It was Jewel simply just being better. We see that early frag come out on the board. But when it came down to that late push, it was the Zofia who just fragged out and found kill after kill to make it happen.
So I call this the French way of playing this map, right? Particularly this Arsenal bomb site, where you open up Dirt Tunnel, you start to set up your crossfires, you basically remove all the defenders because you're just a better mechanicals team from the Arsenal side, which is B, and just force your way into the bomb site. Now, it requires you to have smoke grenades, and that's why Ace gets played so often. And Ace currently isn't banned because you have the Maverick and the Thatcher ban. So I'd have liked to see that adaptation because you understand First Attempt knows the meta. They want to participate in this meta in the way a lot of teams are attacking. And their strategy just doesn't work out as well as it should have till the very few last seconds of the round where Emergence just starts to peek everything. They didn't need to do that. They could have just set a little bit more passively and let the attackers actually come to them. But by peeking, they were participating in that French style of play.
And I think, you know, going into map 2, that's Kafe. And compared to Clubhouse, or what we thought of Clubhouse, Kafe is by no means a strat-heavy map. It is simply a frag fest. And that's what we saw here on Clubhouse, even though it's generally a more of a strategic heavy map. So I have no doubt we are going to see a very similar playstyle from both of these teams. But who will be, able to come out on top of that? 1A, first attempt, they looked a little bit better in those aggressive moments, in that frag fest that we really saw unfold in front of us. And yes, Goria was also popping off on the side of Emergence, but you really got to highlight the play of Jewel, and what we can expect to see on Kafe is probably some of the same.
Well, Kafe might be starting up very quickly because our casters have returned to us. So let's pass it over to Uzu and Keg. The floor is yours.
You're muted, Keg.
Why is it always me? That's okay. I messed up what I said anyways. Goodbye, analysts, and welcome back to the world of pain, it seems, between these two teams. I'm still surprised how close that last game was, Uzu, and I'm wondering if Kafe is going to be the same result, or if maybe one of these teams just wants to say, screw it, I want to end this real quick.
Well, it depends if Bait is able to come back. I don't know if they're able to sub in Bloomins, who was on the team, and I don't know if they made that roster change that he's been dropped within SCS. If not, and if Bloomins is able to come in and they do some role changes, put Blooms and Casper back on the fragger roles, and then so from production, what they are telling us, Bloomins will be coming in. Thankfully, this should be a pretty clean sweep, in my honest opinion, for first attempt, because the way I've seen Bloom shooting lately, man, that kid's an absolute gunner.
I mean, I would say the same thing about Goria too, but there were some instances in that last game that
he wasn't really all that hot, really.
Yeah,
he was really meh.
He was warm.
He was lukewarm.
A very warm Goria.
Yeah.
Not named Gloria. But we are going to see the operator bans coming out now, and I'm curious to see what first attempt wants to bring to the table, or take away from the table first. It is Kafe, it's probably going to be Maverick or Thatcher. Thatcher, of course, always going to be banned. But that second attacker is going to be interesting. I could see it being maybe like a Maverick or an Ace. I think Hard Breach. But I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
Usually, Maverick has been making his presence in the ban phase for attackers. Maybe Capital.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think Maverick might be the ban here. Yeah, it's gonna be Maverick.
What do you know? Surprise, surprise.
I think it's just because of the fact of how much influence he has specifically on the bakery defense, and the fact that Emergence are banning it out first shows that they struggle against playing Maverick when they do go to defense. So default bans here pretty much for the attacking squad. Mirror is most likely going to get banned here by Emergence, if I had to guess anything, and it's actually going to be Wamai. So what I predicted that was going to happen on Clubhouse, it possibly will happen here on Kafe. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I don't know if we're going to be seeing a Kaid ban coming out here from first attempt since they've got the final ban. But
Valkyrie. Final
Valkyrie,
answer.
you think it's going to be Valkyrie?
Yep, final answer.
Well, you're wrong. It's
I
Kaid.
can never get it right. This is why I fail all my tests in school, man. You know, I'll have the content down.
Are your tests in school based on Rainbow Six Siege ban predictions?
I wish. I'd
That'd
still
be
get
pretty
them wrong.
interesting.
Maybe I shouldn't hope that. Oh man, I'd be failing out more than usual. But right now we are going to be going to round number 1. It's going to be Fireplace, and already we see Evil Clouds going for an interesting choice. It's going to be the Ying pick, which we don't see every day, and I'm glad that we can see Ying a little bit more. And honestly, I think coming up in the next meta, like we said in the last map, we're probably going to see Ying have a little bit more staying power in a lot of these rosters just because of how the projectiles are changing. Son of Finn, though, is not going to be Ace. In fact, they're not going to have any hard breaches at all, and they're going to go into the Glaz. So already, IQ, Glaz, Ying, and Gridlock. I am hating this setup, but I love it at the same time. And, Uzu, I don't know if you're a masochist, but depending if you are or not depends whether or not you like this setup too.
For the attacking squad?
Yes.
I mean, with the new Glaz that they've introduced, it kind of feels like old Glaz is back, and it kind of is in a sense. Really, the only thing that new Glaz, at least like current Glaz, does right now is that if he is moving, he's not able to see through the smoke as well, but he can still spot out bananas and go banana hunting with that OTS. So, and for this bomb site, I've never been a fan of this bomb site. Mostly just due to the fact that people can just sit outside on the balcony, right outside by the AC unit, and just sit there the entire round and get control there. But I kind of feel like it also plays like how it is with reading, where you defend upstairs, you rotate down below once you start to get some pressure. You try to fight for picks if you can, but you don't necessarily need to fight for your life. You just fight for time. So I'm curious to see how this bomb site is going to be played out for first attempt on their first defense here.
I'm curious to see where these castle barricades ultimately went. We see castle a lot of the time, but again, we've seen with both teams, these castle placements are peculiar to say the very least. I haven't spotted a single one yet. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm just bad at I Spy, but we're seeing some interesting reinforcements. No castle barricades. They were used some. Oh, we do see one on white stairs. The other two are seeming. Oh, there's one. Aha! Thank you, Henry. We find another one. The last one though, I think is gonna be a bit of a mystery. Oh no, we found it. Top of the stairs. There we go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I saw PK placing them. There's the one on white stairs, one on cocktail, and then you have the. I saw him at the beginning. He was double dooring the one side of mining.
I'm not mad at those placements. I think they're pretty good castles overall, especially with the overpredominance of the roam taking care of upstairs. We are seeing some action coming down below on the main stairs themselves. That's going to require the roamers from coming downstairs, and already one's going to get picked off. Thankfully, those castles did ultimately go down because he's dead on the floor anyways. He's not going to barricade anything now, but that's still going to be the rest of the attackers trying to move their way up, but there's a bit of a powwow going down on the middle floor. Jules able to find move, and your flanker is completely gone, but the scary crux of the round, the real meat of it, Uzu, is going to be the Glaz and Ying. Casper's going to find Goria too, so you have to really rely on this deniability.
I'm really confused as to why Glaz is bringing in frags and not smokes.
You know, I don't know.
He's already expended his utility. The best that he's going to be doing is just fighting this banana, and okay. That scared me for a bit. I thought he was going to lose that gunfight, but Joel's going to go down and they equalize here. Clouds is going to get picked back up. You still have Casper on the right side of that door frame from the outside of the balcony if you're on that perspective. And Bloom is still awaiting someone to just hop in here. They've got the wall reinforced, so Ben is going to have safety to move in here. But there are some footholds to be utilized from this defending squad. You have one that's repelled outside a fireplace. There's 24 seconds, and Bloom's going to be able to get the advantage here by picking off Cloud, and another pick potentially coming in from Ben. He'll miss the shots right now, and I believe that's going to be with Flinty's on the Malusi.
It's like a magic ability from a wizard. We see somehow, in some way, every single round an even 3v3, and sometimes a 2v2, but Flinty's is able to get that final kill there, and it's not often where you get to see a kill there. PK saying, "My eyes, yeah, me too, buddy," but I mean, I don't know what it is about these two teams, Uzu, but they're just able to even things out in the most odd and dire ways I think we've seen in most T3 teams. And at times, and I don't want to come off as insulting or anything, but that's pretty impressive to say for T3 that something like that could happen. Now, we do see Ying coming out again for Evil Clouds, but we see a little someone from... Oh, no, they're going to trade off the ward, and that was a really smart sixth pick on both sides, but... we don't get to see Warden.
I like this pick coming in from Clouds because of the Capitao and with the Wamai being banned. And then I think that PK probably might be reading into it that they're not going to try that again, given that they failed with it, because Ying and Glaz right now really only works if you have coordination, which is something Emergence really lacks. They really don't have a lot of, coordination to help influence their attacks. And I honestly believe that if Bait was here for the remainder of that Clubhouse game, then that first attempt wins it out, because they got pretty close to winning it. Being stuck in the 4v5 with like a 4-3 scoreline, I believe, that was in their favor.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty close, all things considered, but I don't even know if I want to take that first map into consideration anymore. With these two teams, it just feels like a blank slate every single round. Like, nothing's considered from the round previous other than swapping out Ying and Glaz, but who knows? At this rate, even if they won that, I feel like we could have seen the same exact score or same exact operator lineup here. It's going to be kitchen though, and this is predominantly a kitchen or usually a defensive sided map. No castle's going to be in play here, and that's usually another mainstay operator we see for this defense. But at least some commonality here from other matchups is that we do see Emergence going for our top-down attack. Rather than one from the sides or even coming from white on the front stairs, it's going to be pretty much a normal standard attack, but I don't really think anyone's playing on that top floor to be cleared out. No, except for maybe Jewel.
Outside of Jewel, yeah. But I think right now, all he's just trying to do is just fight for time.
And that's not bad either. You don't have to get the frag. Even if you can waste some utility, the time is the most important essence of an attacker's side. There we go. Jewel's just wasting time, firing some pop shots, gonna run out. That was perfectly executed.
Yeah. So for Jewel, that's interesting to me for first attempt because they made a rotate to have someone reinforce garage, and then they reinforce the rotate. Casper's gonna get the opening pick here onto moved, which is your nomad. I don't know if they really were able to set up any air jabs. I didn't get to see that. But first pick is gonna go into first attempt yet again. And now we're in a 4v5 with less than half the round remaining here for Emergence. So clock's ticking. They really haven't gotten anything done onto the bomb site. They're not using a sludge, which is really questionable.
Yeah, I want to keep an eye on the majority of these attackers on the second floor right now. A lot of them are just playing wherever they can. Gory's going to be hiding away a little bit. Jewel may very well find out somebody. Oh my god. But instead, the robot themselves find them instead. They're going to have to run off a little bit more. And there's still some attackers outside. Ben rotated all the way out, trying to hunt down Jewel and is trying to find some pop shots going into Whiskey. I don't know how I feel about this. Jewel might take the risk, but instead, no, gonna rotate up red stairs, trying to find out anybody, but they're gonna be on the other side of the second floor. If there's any engagements happening soon, it's gonna be Sun and right around the corner of the Malusi. Malusi's gonna die. No, there we go. Malusi falls. That's gonna be Son of Finn finding one, but can he follow it up and find another? Jewel, that was your whole job to stall them, and now he's not doing his job. It's going to be putting the attackers in a very good position. Uzu, 20 seconds left now, and Jewel might go in for the late flank. Gonna find out Son of Finn. That's the ace gone. Ben's going to turn around, miss the shot, and that's Ben taking them down again. It's going to be an even 3v3 somehow. Magically again, a 3v3. Now a 2v2. It's just a mowing farm for this dining area. But last but not least, Ben falls at first attempt. Uzu, what? Huh? My brain!
I don't know if Bloom knew where the Ash was pushing from, because it looked to be that he was looking over towards red for a slight moment, and then he just doesn't seem to react to Ben moving in, and he finally does and somehow ends up trading and getting the victory there for his team.
There is a wizard in this game, I swear. Again, another even 3v3 in an instance that really should have been almost a flawless round. Probably for Emergence, honestly. They had the coordination again. They played it slow, sure. But Jewel with a interesting flank. I guess that's a flank. And then there's just the last second mow down from both sides. Brought things to an even 1v1. How does that keep happening?
I think it's probably just a lack of experience, because one thing I want to critique right now is Jewel, because about 5 seconds before he rotated down the brown staircase and got that first pick down Whitehall, he heard the Malusi Banshee start giving away that it was being, activated. So there's only one of two places that attacker could have gone. It was either over towards red hallway or over towards reception right by coat. And Jewel comes down, peeks over into Whiskey, like over towards the rotator where Casper died, and just doesn't bother to check reception until it's too late and he loses his life. And then chaos ensues. Frags all over the board. Trades are happening everywhere. And oh my god, it's just insane.
Pure pandemonium is how I would describe it. I think this beat that we just had here, that really describes how I feel right now. We are seeing, again, another very traditional top-down attack coming out from Emergence's side. A lot of teams like to fall apart in this instance, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens to them here. Jules going to be playing an interesting placement. No doubt a black eye camera inside of Cigar Lounge. I'm assuming C4 is going to come into play at some point as well, but honestly, I'm curious to see if Emergence is going to be able to make it into Cigar Lounge in one piece.
Jewel going to be on a roam still below on the second floor. Meanwhile, with the site, I believe, is up top on third floor. Yeah. So, Moved having a prime opportunity there to shoot PK, but Caster is going to be the opening death yet again. Well, not obviously again here in this map, but he's been the opening death quite often from what I've noticed. And down goes your Goyo. Down goes a C4 and one of your only 2 C4s to be utilized this round.
Why is there a Goyo inside Freezer? Is that a new thing, or is that just question mark, question mark,
At the
question
bathroom
mark?
hall? At the bathroom hall?
No, not even the hall, inside of Freezer.
Oh, in there?
Look at
now.
that. What? I've never seen that before. I mean, I'm not against it. If there's an ADS around the sides, I don't see an ADS. So if that blows up, you are pushed out of there completely. But everyone else on the... No, there's Jules with that C4. Down below, able to get some action down there. But PK, still holding on the bathroom. Flinties, of course, with that exploding Goyo that we just talked about. Gonna be flushed out of his position. Otherwise, Jewel gonna be making their way forwards, hiding in the corner very smartly. Gets peeked out.
What is going on?
I don't know, Uzu. Again, 3v3! How does this keep happening? It should not be happening. These should be very not close rounds. I am losing my mind in a good and in a bad way. But right now, Uzu, let me set the scene for you. 3 attackers left inside pretty much the cigar area. One's gonna be up above, actually. Everyone else on the defense is in the worst positions possible.
Okay, those smokes are coming in to try to clear.
Knife?
The Flint is going to deny the plant with a knife, and he's not even aware of the person sitting inside of Cigar. 2v2 now. You have Jewel and Bloom left alive. Peek's coming in, and Gory is going to be able to take care of Jewel, so now it's a 1v2 here for Bloom. We've seen him clutch time and time again. It's really interesting to me that he's not on these fragging rolls. He's trying to spray the Alda through the bar, but he's not going to find anything there going for him. He's going to have to switch over to his secondary, but he realizes that it's a shotgun, so he can't really do anything with the long-range fight. He's got to fight off against Clouds inside of Piano. He's also got to fight against another member sitting inside of Cigar. So 26 seconds to go. Not a whole lot of time is going to be used here for Bloom. He's going to get swung. No, Clouds doesn't even decide to peek. He just waits for Bloom to come in, shoots him in the back of the head. And everything that... There were so many things wrong that first attempt did there. And I honestly believe that's from like a lack of experience and just using scrims to win instead of learn. From what I can tell, because these guys have been a team for quite some time, for like at least a few months, and I don't know. It's just like the caliber, the ranks that they're at doesn't really reflect the kind of players that they should be here within SCS, because you have like some diamonds and you have like a majority of like diamonds and champs, if not all of them, on first attempt, and everything that they're doing, or not everything, but a lot of the things that they're doing fundamentally just look wrong.
We have to be missing something. We have to. Either our brains are too small for this game, or there's something we're missing. There has to be.
Nothing really looks coordinated on either side. Like they just look like they're just swinging the swing, and if they get into a gunfight, click mouse 1 and pray you win.
I think the big thing that's bothering me mostly is that we're seeing a very distinct lack of people checking their corners from both sides. I mean, at one point we had seen, oh man, it was Ben on the Ash. First round, I'm sorry, the kitchen round. Peeking around, not checking his corners, gets killed off. Of course, that last round too, Bloom, the last one alive, didn't peek his corners either in Cigar, and had the same exact result happen in one of the most dire moments. Jules gonna be playing on white again, gonna be playing probably that very safe angle, and Uzu, help me.
Okay, so they're setting up an Evil Eye inside of 90 Hall.
I've never seen that.
I'm not so sure exactly what that's going to be watching. Maybe Bloom just rotates it to the right to have an angle. So if the default cam gets shot out, that's a potential replacement for it. But other than that, that's all that I'm really seeing here.
If these are just very experimental avant-garde strats, I'd be totally okay with this set. Because I don't know what else it could be. We did see the first frag go down. It's going to be Ben that falls, so even if that Evil Eye did get destroyed, it's not going to be destroyed now pretty much unless you want to waste some of the Zofia utility. But, I mean, maybe that was some 400 IQ moves. Knowing that Sledge would go down first, having that Evil Eye still there, watching nothing, but having the sound cues, maybe? But they all dropped.
Why is Ben solo entering without any kind of trade potential?
Well, I mean, they trade potential from above the grave, it seems, I guess. Because we still see Jewel hiding around the corners. It's going to be another one as well, peeking out onto the Zofia. Casper's able to find Goria now, and it is just a back and forth. These are gunfights that should not be taken, should not be lost or won. This is called, we're watching Moscow right now.
I know I've said it a lot of times before, but Emergence just, they honestly just look like a ranked stack team. They look like they haven't really played with each other before, which isn't true because they've clearly played, you know, matches within this league. The plant's already going down and they've lost 2 players. They've lost Finn, who is their planter. What is the decision making behind this team? Like, who is it? Do they even have an IGL?
This has to be experimental. Like,
This has to be a troll.
If you're watching one of those
Oh
films,
my god, what are you doing?
I'm sorry. Evil Cloud's now the last one alive. Does take down Jewel, but will that really be enough? No. Probably not. I mean, the Capital's got to do something. He takes down the default camp.
Okay,
Evil Eye's
I
in
see
the
what that Evil Eye is
way.
for.
I mean, yeah, but still. I mean, of all instances that should have gone down, first attempt wins the round.
Oh my
Uzu,
god.
Uzu. A man only likes to count his troubles. He does not calculate his happiness. Do you know who said that?
No.
Dostoevsky.
That's the cafe we're at.
Exactly. And that's how I feel right now. But the show must go on. 3 points in the favor, well, 2 points now in the favor of first attempt side. They are making it work on the defense. You got to give them credit for that. All things considered, they're making it work at the very end. Emergence on their attack, again, like you said, looked pretty lost. Ben goes down, no drones, no utility, no nothing.
He had a drone. He just...
Okay, he had a drone, but it didn't work. It malfunctioned.
Like,
he gets swarmed by defenders and falls. Then the rest of the Power Rangers drop Uzu, and they almost flush him out, but they just rotate down to the bottom floor, onto the bomb site, and kill them there.
I mean, you have Ben make a rotate on top of red stairs into piano. And then you have somebody drone him. Meanwhile, the other 3 members are just twiddling their fingers up above the red stairs hatch because what we saw after Flinties got that pick onto Ben, he just ran away. He ran back to go play over at Cocktail. And then you see 3 members, if not 4, all drop red hatch to finally make their execute onto the 3rd floor.
I do this on my downtime.
There's so many things wrong. I can't say it, but Jewel's getting primed and ready for a C4 here. Is Finn aware of this? C4 will get tossed out and it will be shot. So nice try from Jewel, but his attempt doesn't work.
I mean, you gotta remember from CCS, I think it was last week, we did see an amazing C4 Hail Mary throw from a Steam. That was cool. If we saw it here, I'd cry.
Well, first minute of the play is slowly winding down to a close here. Team. I don't know who that was all the way over in Cocktail, but I think it might have been Jewel. If not Flinties, but... No, it's Casper, actually. So Casper's going to be on the Jaeger this time around, just rotating back and forth.
Waiting for it. Okay.
What is Jewel doing? He's going to die here. He's going to die here.
Camera!
What are you doing? Peek him! What are you doing, Joel? Oh my god.
Oh, but the refrag potential, maybe, just no, maybe later. Okay, Casper, you do you.
Oh boy.
But Move's gonna keep holding that angle. I don't blame him. PK's just gonna go up the stairs, gets the kill on the Move. That was something. I mean, actually, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a really good trade. Move probably not expecting someone to go up in white.
Why
Really
is he entering?
I don't know.
You're
I cannot-
Nomad.
No air jabs, I believe, were deployed. If there was one,
Why?
somewhere. Look at the floor right now. It is a mess. Blood everywhere. Goria finds Finity, so that's good. Flinty, excuse me, is able to find the Malusi. Goria is making work happen still on the attack. Everyone else is doing their own thing, I guess. We still see some attempted angles coming out from Ben as well, ripping open the floorboards, trying to find anybody. Goria's going to jump down, go back to the native floor of where the bomb site is, and again, it's mining, and we don't see mining too often either, so that in of itself is interesting, but Castle's going to fall. Goria's going to find another one, I'm assuming through a Z-ping, but otherwise, where are these defenders? Doesn't matter, because they're falling to Goria. It's a triple kill. Sonafin's going to get a little bit of damage, but Casper and Bloom need to stay alive now. They're in a very bad position, Uzu, and I don't see that changing whatsoever. C4's gonna go out, not find anybody. It's gonna get shot, no less. But still, rotating around, the bomb in favor of the attackers. It's going back and forth. One left alive, and Casper, where are you? Your people need you, and you're nowhere to be found. When they needed you most, you disappeared, Casper. And now you're trying to make a triumphant return in a 1v3 in a narrow-ass hallway. There's not much you can really do, especially when Goria is already on a triple hitter. The angle's watching you. They know exactly where you are now. Sun's gonna be describing themselves away. Gets the kill, no less. And Uzu, Goria's gonna find this final kill. We're both prophets today. And there's no way to defuse this.
Goria is currently sitting inside of Train. And if Casper can find this in the next 5 seconds, then I think he's got it under the bag. But he's gonna get shot up by Ben. This game, man.
This game.
I'm excited. I'm gonna be excited to see what these teams can do when they come into CL quals. Because if I'm not mistaken, both of these teams are gonna be going for CL quals.
Oh.
Unless Emergence is still underage. I'm not so sure.
Goria
is
16.
16,
So we're gonna have to wait a little bit for Goria, but otherwise that'll be interesting. This game, like the game before, is like solving a very cryptic cipher, right? I took a class on ciphers actually. It was interesting. I failed it, but it was interesting. Pretty much what I would do is I would take the cipher, put it in a cipher degenerator, like a decryptor, and try to get the results. It didn't work for me, but you have all the pieces there. You have what seems to be the key to win, but you just get the wrong result, no matter which team you're on. First attempt are edging it out a little bit. Emergence were able to win that last round, sure, but Uzu, this is a struggle bus for both teams.
A lot of these rounds, honestly, should be going in favor. Well, obviously, a lot of these rounds are going in favor of first attempts away, but
Even more so.
They should be even more so. This should honestly be a 4-1 split for first attempt. I think that last round was just they just had too many blunders, and again they make a rotate from freezer to the garage so they can make a reinforcement.
No, that's smart. I like that. Oh wait.
And then they just reinforce the wall that they had.
Why? No, that was a really smart move. Otherwise,
I mean, they did this the last time they came down here, so that's what I was questioning too. And whoever's drone that is, they need to move this immediately because what is happening? What are we witnessing?
I'm glad I get to experience with you.
I hate it here.
If somehow in some beautiful alternate dimension I could ever cast Challenger League, I hope we can experience fun stuff like this together, Uzu, because this is something else.
This is the peak of T3. I don't know what I'm talking about. Everything that is happening in this game is immaculate and
This
of
is
the
like-
highest level of T3.
This is the Monet of Siege. The Picasso. The Kubrick of Siege. Jewel, of course, gonna be going downstairs. He's gonna meet up with Bloom, but they're gonna trade a glance as they walk on by against each other. It's gonna be a top-down clear once again for the attackers, but they're nowhere to be seen on that final floor. They're all going to be up above still. Jewel, the only one really going to be playing some sort of roam game, maybe trying to find one, but again, it's too little too late, it seems. We do see Flinty, of course, on the second floor as well near mining. Might be able to find some action as well, but literally almost nobody in this game is moving. They're like statues.
Pretty
One
much.
from Michelangelo.
Pretty
Just
much. Is that a breach charge that went off? I think it was a breach charge from Goria. But Jewel is still going to be on these red stairs. I think he's just awaiting for someone to just move up. I can't tell if there's been an air jab set on the red stairs. I want to say that there is, which is why Jewel isn't making any movements over there towards at least like mining and train to try to pick off this sledge. But for the time being, he is going to be in that certain position, just awaiting the sledge. He did see him pass. And it appears to be that there is going to be an air jab there. So Jewel does have an opportunity to make something happen here. There's half a minute remaining, and he's just taking so much time here. I think he might be aware of another one. Yeah,
Oh,
so
there
they've
is
left
another
two
one.
here. So Bloom's going to be the opening death here with 25 seconds to go, and Jewel needs to make this move happen immediately. Gonna get pick off one. Now the advantage goes in favor, and Casper with a double here onto Moved and Finn. That Malusi is just seemingly just too much trouble for Ben, so he has to take care of it immediately. And Flinty's gonna find the pick here onto Goria. The SMG-11 is out, finds the pick onto Casper with a hip fire. But Flinty is there for the refrag, and First Attempt will win out round number 6 and move on to a 4-2 split, moving into their attack. Not a bad split for First Attempt, but they honestly could have done better.
They could have.
I'm curious to see what Emergence are going to do here on defense, because given how their defenses went on Clubhouse, I'm not going to have so much faith really in what they can do here on defense. They've gotten picks every now and then, sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, they've gotten picks every now and then, but the way that they organize themselves and compose themselves on Clubhouse defense, I'm really curious to see what they can bring out here on reading Fireplace.
I'm just happy that we didn't see a 3-3 split at the end of that round. I mean, we've seen it 3 versus 3 almost every single time. I mean, I'm also glad we didn't see a 3-3 split on the scoreline too. It could have gone that way. I think First Attempt played that really well on the defense, all things considered. Jewel, like you mentioned, did play it pretty slow. They had 2 air jabs in the way, but we're seeing a very similar Evil Eye setup too. It's gonna be a little bit having more vision, I would say, than the one we had seen on First Attempt side. But I guess you could say what we saw before was the First Attempt, and then we saw it perfected by Emergence here. But overall, this looks like a very solid defender setup.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Yeah, I mean, everything looks pretty default here, except for the fact that they didn't reinforce off the piano walls, so any soft breachers are going to be able to work their magic through Freezer. So 2, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where are the other 4 reinforcements being utilized at?
I have a very good answer for that.
Is it mining? No.
Oh, there is some in mining.
Oh, there is one in mining, yeah.
There's 2 in mining. There's 1 for the hatch. Oh,
So-
those 2?
It looks to be that they just want to give a bathroom and freezer. They don't even want to try to fight to have that kind of control. And they're just trying to fight for cocktail. From the looks of it, they just want to hold cocktail. They don't even want to fight for bar. They don't want to fight for bar stock. They don't want to fight for the bathroom. They don't want to fight for freezer. They're just giving up so much of the map already on the 3rd floor that they can go ahead and start to just take control of the 2nd floor, which is exactly what's happening here. It's just first minute eclipse is already happening. You have to take care of moves currently sitting inside a train. He'll be compromised now. Flashbang's going to get tossed in by Flinties. He's just playing Ring Around the Rosies here with Moved. Dancing around him. Sees that he's coming in an easy pick onto Moved. Moved is just lost in the sauce. I'm sorry.
He wasn't even flashed out.
No. He just kept getting droned and getting no help from Clouds whatsoever. Who's also going to be fully flashed here, but it doesn't appear that Flinties is aware of this. And he's finally going to get some assistance probably from the White Staircase. I think they reinforced the wrong wall, in my honest opinion.
They very well may have, and I'm not gonna disagree with you. It's one of those things where I feel like my brain's in a vacuum cleaner right now. It's sucking out all the brain juices, and I'm just left with I don't even know, like a dried up sponge. But still, the show goes on, and I do like watching Siege. So this is some interesting action too, and it's not something we see every day either. Valentis is going for a full-on flank on the attack. Gory is still on the top floor. There's still one upstairs as well. It's gonna be Casper, I believe, who he may have an angle on. He definitely has the intel that one more remains upstairs, but Jules watching the completely wrong angle from behind. It's gonna be up to Goria now to take advantage of exactly what first attempt did to get into them, but no. Jewel, the last second, whether it be a sixth sense or whether it be some intel, moves around just at the nick of time. Goria, though, has the advantage. He can see the attackers from below. Ben's able to find PK, but can he make it work? He does! Casper's able to take Evil Clowns, and Gloria is able to refrag it. But where's Jewel? Jewel doesn't realize a thing. Plentis is able to get a double kill. Gory is the last one alive. That's going to be free range for the entire bomb site. 10 seconds left now. You better get that plant down, or Goria is going to make mincemeat out of you, or he's going to make mincemeat of himself on the white stairs. Plenty is able to save the day, take down Gloria, and that is going to be another round in the favor of first attempt. Now putting them, Uzu, 1 point away from match point in this best of 2. Me too.
I'm speechless right now. Like I have nothing else to say right now for Emergence. They're just.
Jules should have heard Goria.
I don't think he could have, because
you sure?
Because crouch walking as a 3-speed is practically no sound at all. In all honesty, and especially if you're giving comms and stuff like that.
I mean, yes, I just feel like it was such a close proximity that even the most you should have had that awareness still to maybe think Goria was unchecked. And that maybe he's still upstairs. I mean, he shouldn't have been upstairs. There's a very good reason why he shouldn't have been, and that's why, you know, a pretty large factor of them losing the round was because of it. But there's still that inkling in your mind, especially as the flank watch, that maybe someone might be trying to flank you.
10 seconds to insertion. Attackers have located a bomb.
But
so,
5 seconds.
Two
you
C4s.
can go ahead.
2 C4s, Uzu. That's all I wanted to say.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Flinties and Casper have really been shining here, and it goes to show how much having a fifth can be. Bloom, although he hasn't been really shining much here for his team, he's been assisting his team with droning, with support play, with those cam placements from Maestro when he played on defense. Everything for first attempt has. Okay.
I just want to know what the thought process is.
They're defending kitchen, and they don't opt to reinforce prep walls.
I just want to understand why.
This is basic Kafe kitchen defense.
I just want to know what the thought process is. We don't see anybody on the site, by the way. We don't have any defenders on the site. They're playing a complete retake game. They're waiting for all the attacks to come through and find these kills. That in itself is decently smart, but the execution's going to be pivotal and perfect. Moved, got a really nice headshot onto the flank watch Jewel. That's going to be a really good opening pick, and doesn't get traded out either. Ben's able to find Casper, and that's going to be another attacker gone. They're just being picked off one by one. Uzu, I think this might be a very ingenious defense just because of their raw aggression. Otherwise, this would not work at all. We're listening to the and the beautiful sonnets, I guess I would say, of our producer saying his feelings about first attempt. PK's able to find Goria. That's gonna be the top fragger for the defense, completely gone of Emergence's side. Plenties and PK, Uzu, are the last two alive. This is not a good situation for the attackers. They haven't gone inside yet. They are only now just entering the
Oh, what are you doing?
building. Ben, don't move!
Okay, he goes back to the bomb site, so he's trying to play his life.
He is, but I mean,
man, the timing.
Hard thing to do, but that could have been so dangerous.
He could have found himself at the pick there, but I think he just I don't know.
I think
There's-
that
There's too many angles to watch right now for Flinties here. He's got a four-way crossfire. All four members sitting inside a kitchen?
Yep.
What is happening?
You know, I think we're in an alternate dimension right now where it's like you're catching up with an old work friend that you haven't worked at that job in 5 years. And you guys don't really know what to talk about other than your boss that already left like 2 years ago. Moved, finds one, and that's gonna be a double crossfires everywhere. PK falls after being taken down by Sunov. That's gonna be another round for Emergence. Okay. Is that the first Emergence defense we've seen? Win?
On this map, yes.
Yes.
Because they went 3 for 3 in on Clubhouse.
It's like they're trying to play their high school band again, but they graduated 10 years ago and they're trying to use the same instruments and they just can't get the fingering right, you know? That's how it feels right now. Like everything is there. Everything is there, but they just cannot operate it. And I wish we could go into a deeper analysis than that, but there's so much that doesn't make sense on almost a fundamental level at times that it's really hard to go for an analysis at times because we'd be here all day. That's why we have analysts. They can talk about that stuff. Us, we just say what's on the screen, and frankly, what we're seeing right now is unique and disturbing.
I feel like first attempt are just feeling a little bad for Emergence, so they have to give them some rounds every now and then.
Didn't I say that in the very first round of the first map?
Yeah.
Look how far we've come. Man.
5 seconds remaining.
Pain.
Pain is all we know.
I do like the Warden pick though. I think that's a smart idea, but we haven't seen any flashes really used. We've seen more smoke grenades used than flashes, I would say, in the series. The Yings were brought out in the very first round for Emergence's attack, but we haven't seen it since that first round. The very first one of the game. So the Warden, kind of unnecessary, but it's still smart. I'd rather have a Wamai,
Attackers drop the
but he's
diffuser.
banned. So I guess it works decently. You could have brought Goyo, I guess.
Attackers have
I
recovered the
guess.
diffuser.
Yeah. But Goyo was only really used from first attempt side. I don't think we've seen a Goyo be used from Emergence.
No, we haven't, Uzu. We have not.
No. I
But
think I think that Goyo is a very good look for this meta specifically. It's just that his kit and his arsenal is not ideal, which is why he's not picked as much. And especially, like, I think that the better weapon right now for most people would be to go for the TCSG because it got buffed recently. But it also depends on your trigger finger and your crosshair placement, which not a lot of players really have. Gloria's gonna pick off Flinties on the rappel.
He makes it work.
That's a rip and a half.
Where's the body?
I think it got eaten by the building.
Did it really?
I think it did, given how siege can be.
I mean, observer at this point, can we just see the body? I just want to see where it went. I know
Hopefully we
it's
can.
ramping up, but that's gonna bother me. I'm pretty sure it got eaten. I don't think you can hear me. That's fine. Jewel, though, is going to be walking around. Ben's able to find Casper. It's going to be a back and forth, a little bit of an engagement, but Ben only takes a sliver of damage. It's not a whole lot. The attackers are struggling again. They can barely get into the building. In fact, Flinties was killed on the rappel, like you mentioned. They barely got in. PK is walking on the carpets, but this might be the red carpet in the red line for his attack and how much he can move forward. The spray and pray coming out from Gloria again makes it work. A double kill, Luzu. Now, again, we have our last two attackers. They're down inside Cigar Lounge, and there's really not much of a place they can move at this point. They're severely outnumbered. They're outgunned. And honestly, at this point, they're outbrained, it feels.
Bloom is trying so hard to fight against move, but the awkward recoil from the L85 just doesn't work in his favor. It's not leaving it all up to PK in 25 seconds in a 1v5 scenario. Sees the Maestro, but he can't even, he can't even hit his head.
That That was a soft wall too. Oh my god, that was
my
extra soft.
god.
That was Charmin ultra soft Uzu. Man,
Please end it.
I just
want to go home.
want to know the thought process between these two teams. These are not bad teams. These are teams decently high on the leaderboards for SCS. Decently high. They're not at the top. They're not even in the top 5, but they're decently up there. They're not in the bottom 3, but
They're middle of the pack.
middle of the pack. But still, they're middle of the pack. And I mean, I just want to understand. I just want to understand what they're trying to go after. If these are avant-garde, super experimental strats they want to bring out today, stuff that they're just trying to work around with rims.
I don't think Emergence have strats.
Maybe not these.
I don't think they have legit strats. I think they're just going with whatever they like comes to mind and just
Maybe. But at least they're trying something experimental then, I would say. But I mean, they're just doing the same things over and over again. We do see the Goyo, sure, but is that going to be enough? I mean, we're going to Fireplace now. We haven't really seen that too much yet. Goria really showed what they can do on Fireplace especially, but I mean, I just want to understand the thought process for both teams because they seem to be on the same wavelength, and that is it's spiking up and down like a barometer, in like a magnitude 8 earthquake. It's like all over the place. But I just want to know what they're thinking.
So they've set up an ADS in bar, as well as footholes, to look from below in the bond site. Should the sledge from Bloom come over and, hit the castle barricade? This ADS is going to be crucial for first attempt to drone out because 1, there's no mute being played, and 2, I highly doubt there's a Mozzie pass being played around that side of the castle barricade. So if and when that ADS does get spotted out, Flinties can come around or Casper can just stun off. I'm assuming they're just going to use Flinties as ADSs here because then they can just move into Freezer and just attack that way. But Flinties, what is this setup?
Well, double shield.
First attempt, just rotate down. Don't even just do a cocktail attack.
Double shield, Goyo on white stairs.
There's not even any breach denial.
Okay.
What are we witnessing?
They're gonna keep pushing on forwards. Bloom is looking to see what he can find with his secondary. It's gonna be the SMG-11. Did you remember that Buck had the SMG? I just remembered. But here we go. Jules gonna keep pushing, and yes, they are gonna rotate down. Evil Cloud's still gonna be holding on tight, but from down below, Ben wasn't expecting that shot. The Goyo, his own shields are gonna light him on fire, it feels. And it's just a massacre. It's pandemonium everywhere. Bloom finds a grenade kill on a DBNO body. Everyone's gonna be rotating downstairs. They've taken full control of the top floor. But everybody else? Why? He walked right into it, but almost got destroyed. That was smart, but it didn't work.
No, I knew what he was doing. So he tosses it so that way whoever's playing down below, the moment they see the icon, they don't have enough time to run away, and then it falls on them. But unfortunately for Bloom, his nade doesn't land where he wants it to. There's 40 seconds left to go in this round. It's a 5v4 for the attacking squad. They have an opportunity here now. If a 5v3 is Bloom is able to find the second pick here.
I was afraid Bloom didn't have enough time.
There's half a minute left to go in the round. Bloom's going to be taking a little bit of damage, I believe, from possibly Goria. Please shoot him. Please shoot him. Thank you. Stop trolling. Just get the frag.
This is impressive.
What is happening?
40 seconds left now on between both teams. It was a 3v3 again. I don't know how this keeps happening, but no, not gonna be.
What is happening?
A 1v3 now. Goria, last one alive again. Something about this site. He's gonna be the last one every single time, and he gets mowed down by Bloom up above. I mean, the SMG-11. You remember Sledge has an SMG-11? I just remembered again. Match point. The final point for the attack, maybe for the attack. We have been through an adventure, Uzu. A very interesting adventure. I wouldn't call it a good adventure. I'm not going to call it a bad adventure. It's an adventure nonetheless. It was just below the cusp of insanity. I think there's insanity, like holy crap insanity, but this was holy moly insanity. Like it was right on the edge, but didn't break the barrier. Me too.
Defenders
This
This
is the kind
is-
of adventure you would get a tattoo with, like one of those bonding tattoos afterwards. Like, yeah, we survived this together, Uzu.
I guess.
We're blood brothers now because of the first attempt Emergence matchup in SCS 2020, Season 4. But we're going to be going back to kitchen again. We do see that reinforcement coming down. They're not going to go for the attempted rotate. Instead, they're just going to straight up reinforce the back of freezer. That's fine. Perfectly okay with me. This is all intents and purposes a pretty standard defensive hold. The prep wall, I'm curious to see if that was reinforced after all. If the observer could go down a little bit and see maybe. Prep wall. Nope. Still blank as a slate. Still like a chalkboard. Nails scratching all over it.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Potentially, this is going to be the last round between these two teams. And if first attempt are able to lock it out here, they will tie with Emergence, which in all honesty should have been a win on Clubhouse for first attempt had bait not disconnected and had internet issues.
Historically,
C4 gets tossed out and picks off Casper. That's a great start here for Emergence. Oh,
but
Finn,
fix it again.
what are you doing? What is... Okay. This is just... Why? Like, you're playing Bakery and you still don't choose to reinforce the prep walls.
You know, I'm curious to see what Goria can do here. He does take down Bloom. Can Goria find a second one? It's very possible, and the answer is going to be yes. That's going to be a second one to go down. First attempt are struggling so much here, and that's going to be
What is happening?
all of a sudden. I feel bad for the observer here. You can't keep up with this action. This is like Canadian CL again. But that's okay. It's still a 1v2. Flint has been shown to have a lot of potential to clutch these situations out in the past, and I'm not going to put it against him now if he can or cannot do this. But Evil Clouds on the other side of the second floor could very well get the... He's going to rotate down hatch instead and go back to where it's safe. Could this be a 5-6? Yes, it will be. Evil Clouds with the rotates able to find... You know, our producer's quite literally crying, but... Masochism. Send tweet.
You know, it's like that meme
Yeah.
where the dog is just standing in fire, and
No, bring your grandma on. Come on. Ah, he's not gonna bring grandma on. It's the only reason why I signed up for this season was Uzu's grandma. Oh my money.
is that the only reason?
Yes. Quite literally the only reason.
My dad just barged into my room and just like opened up everything and just turned off my light because it's
Yeah, bring
extremely
him
hot
in.
in our house.
Yeah, I want to hear him cast. I want to hear him
No.
defeat the insanity.
No,
I mean, at this point, why not? We had a cast in Rush in one round, no less.
we did.
So bring your dad on.
No.
Pain. I would get one of my flatmates, but I'm by myself in my house right now. That's why I'm screaming as loud as I can. No one in the neighborhood's at home right now except me. I'm the only one in my neighborhood. It's a ghost town.
10 seconds left.
Is it a ghost town?
I mean,
5
I haven't
seconds.
seen any ghosts recently, but I think they left for Thanksgiving too.
Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
I'll keep checking to see if the ghosts are back, but no.
This is a very fun game, Keg, right?
Very final round high for me.
This
Very
is
I
a
want this
very
to end.
fun game.
Guidance Gaming
Mhm.
could give them a better
We're having
them a better
a
run for their
very
money.
good time, dude.
That is-
Rocket Blast before the changes that they made could give them a better run for their money. I'm not kidding.
The bomb diffuser.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my
Gore
god.
14-2, by the way. Yeah. Well,
They did lose 14-2.
oh yeah, my bad. 14-8. I'm Valorant style stats. I really hate how Valorant is KAD and then Siege is KDA.
No, Siege is KAD.
Yeah,
Valorant is KDA.
you know what I meant.
No,
Oh, my bad.
I'm just kidding. Valorant sucks.
I know. What? No.
Yes.
No.
Valorant is boring. It's not fun.
I like it.
I don't like it at all.
Evil Clouds, though, gonna be rotating around. We're gonna be seeing some pop shot action going down
Knife the plant moved. Get yourself some extra breathing room.
Where are
Like
they
you're getting shot in the butt.
Oh my
Please,
god.
please win a gunfight, man. I'm begging you at this point.
No one's
Please win
getting...
it. Oh my god, thank you. And he gets instantly traded out. Bloom is down for the count before getting picked off by Casper. And now we're in a 4v4.
Again.
I believe there's... Okay, is that Jewel? That is Jewel. Go upside down, man. Give yourself some help. Finn is just hiding in the laundry corner of smoke. Nothing surprising there. Nothing interesting. Ben is still fighting inside a freezer. He's got clouds, and Finn's gonna find Casper and potentially push us into overtime.
Keep in mind, it's infinite overtime too.
I understand. PK moving in. Plant is starting to go down. There's 4 members alive. How are you letting this plant go down?
Attackers
What are you doing? Where's the smoke? Why are you in laundry? Oh my god.
Nice plays coming up from Flint. He's a double kill, no less. It's gonna be good.
Oh shit.
Ruin. where are the defenders?
Dude.
Where are
What are you doing? They just want this to end. I'm not kidding. They just want what?
Oh, so bad. Do something. Okay.
20 seconds.
Seconds left.
Please win this so we can go to overtime, man. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Okay, you got plenty. Just go defuse, man. Just go defuse. Just defuse. Just defuse. Please don't get this, PK. Please let him defuse. Please let him defuse. No! Let him defuse! Let him defuse, PK. Alright. It's a draw. It's a tie. 7-5 on both sides, so...
Points. Everyone's a winner. But not by much. Pretty much the leaderboards are going to stay the same. I don't think they're going to change over on the master leaderboard system. Like his Empire is still 10-0. Nothing changes there.
I look like a floating head right now.
You are wearing a Dark Zero shirt.
Yes.
Yes. I saw the logo. Uzu, there's really not much for us to say here. I wish we could go into a deeper dive, analyst. Obviously, I feel like what we've seen here and what we've performed don't reflect us as casters. We're much more professional than this usually, but desperate times call for desperate measures.
It's T3.
We have no brain stems now.
Crow was like this the other day in RSA. I could care less.
We do have analysts though, so we could see what they have to say. I'm hoping they can be a little bit more composed than we are, but probably not.
I don't know. I think they will be because they didn't have to deal and cast that match. So, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's over. It's done with. Do we just throw it to the analysts? Let's throw it to the analysts.
Pain now.
Chief. JZ Wills, it's your turn. You're muted, Chief.
Chief, my boy.
Chief, you're muted.
Oh,
Chief, you're muted.
I just pulled a
Chief, you're
king.
muted.
Unfortunate.
Chief,
Well,
you're
we're
muted.
talking about being professional, and right there, that ain't it, Chief. Now, I know you guys are getting frustrated with that cast, but you guys have to realize, I know it's T3, some of you guys are coming from T2, but these players, T3 means a lot to them. And nonetheless, they were playing without an IGL too, so we have to take that in mind. These teams are changing up their macro strategies, so sometimes things don't go as expected. You're still learning, they're still developing along the ways, but we saw some very interesting things, and that was the Quaternary Bomb site that we saw twice in a row.
An incredible... We saw a lot of tomfoolery here tonight, as our casters have, well, definitely denoted to us. But round number 1 was quite a way to start us off. We went straight to mining and fireplace. That is a bit ridiculous. You don't usually see that. And this one played out, well, some would say, like a ranked stack, like a everyone stacked up on the window and sent it into mining one at a time. And you brought the Glaz, the Ying, and the Gridlock. So a lot of things went wrong here for Emergence, but really it was that big bamboozle coming out from first attempt, deciding to head to that quaternary bomb site that you said, Chief. So this one ended up working out in their favor, but eventually Emergence was able to adapt, compose themselves, and get their attack going on this site.
So you can see Emergence is trying to play this very aggressive game. Now, with Ying and Glaz in play, that means that they were expecting to go upstairs. They were definitely not expecting that quaternary bomb site. So they had to make strategy on the fly. And when you're in IGL, that is probably the hardest thing to do and the hardest thing to do right. They elected to just do a full Ying dump and smoke grenade dump. And why I like the idea behind that strategy, when you're all just suicide rushing through a single fatal funnel, you're just going to lose those engagements. It was pretty close. All things considered, though, the attackers were able to be a 2-3 with 16 seconds left on the clock. That's a lot better than what it could have been. They tried to play these operators, but sadly, the operator lineup they had was not advantageous for this map. But they do make their adjustments in round 5.
And round 5 is when things changed up a bit. We don't see the Glaz or the Gridlock this time. We do still see Clouds bringing out the Ying, but this time it really played out a lot differently. They opted for, more of that traditional style of roam clear and that traditional vertical pressure take rather than simply, ascend through the window. And this one worked out a lot better in their favor. Yes, it went back and forth in a very similar way, but at the end of the day, it was just Emergence who were able to regroup themselves and make it happen. We see the pressure mounting here in Piano, and they really just decisively removed this top floor roam presence. They cleared out those roamers, that extended hold, and they made it work in their favor. They were eventually able to turn that map control into some site pressure. So we obviously see some back and forth frags coming out, PK getting that one on to moved, but it was not quite the first attempt needed to secure this a second time in a row.
So 1A is trying to participate in their stage roam, which works out great for reading room, but the first part of your stage is piano. So when you leave that, you basically allow the attackers to utilize vertical destruction and push you away from one of the best planning bomb sites here. And you just see them start to manipulate the defense in ways they weren't expecting. That's the problem when you bring out a reading room style defense, not on reading room. Now, I know they share a joint bomb site, and that's great, but you have to uniquely tailor your strategies around both bomb sites you're playing, not just one that they might be sharing. And also, it helps that Emergence is actually being a little bit more passive, very methodical, and actively dealing with the straight stage roam piece by piece, and that's forcing first attempt to just get very aggressive.
Well, and the aggression, has worked for them all night, but it was a couple of these rounds where maybe they overstayed their welcome on that roam or overly aggressive when they really should not have been, when the crossfire was already established, and that one didn't work out in their favor in that part of the aggression. In this post-plant situation, Casper, he was able to find one here with a good little wall bang onto Son of Finn, but it wasn't really going to be enough to take this round. I mean, the map control now that was completely surrendered by them. Casper, who was off-site over on the reading room side of things, there was really no shot for him to get back onto site and actually make it happen. So that's how round number 5 played out. But, we saw first attempt put on, I think, one of the best, clinical defensive rounds on round number 2. We'll head to that one next. And that was when they were on the kitchen site, when they just had a beautiful roam presence that just refused to be shut down. And whether that's just brilliant play from first attempt or a little bit of miscommunication from the side of Emergence, you really can't say. But what you can just see in front of you is that that roam worked out in a really big way for them.
Now, I will say it's refreshing to see Bloom back on the first attempt roster. He has parted ways with this team, though he's still registered as a substitute. He's trying to pursue new avenues. So it's nice to see that synergy coming back. And like we were highlighting earlier, Bait, the IGL, was unable to participate somewhere after map number 1 because of a power outage. And, I love how first attempt was able to basically climb the mountain without their primary shot caller and their leader. So just their defense alone here just orchestrates that perfectly.
And look at what Casper's about to do. The call goes out that the Nomad's pushing into Pillar, and Casper just eliminates Moved. Moved was pushing in all by herself there, or by himself, and that, well, that didn't work out at all. No refrag came out, and that is when First Attempt did the best, when they were able to isolate those attackers, find them, you know, when they're at their most vulnerable, and just absolutely deliver those decisive, really big impact frags. Losing your Nomad early in the round like that is a pretty big deal. It's not, you know, monumental pick, but that really made Emergence go on the back foot for the rest of this round. They got the vertical pressure going eventually, but by the time they turned that, you know, pressure into going onto site, the roam, because it wasn't shut down on the first side of First Attempt, they could just flank Brown Stairs. And that's what we saw Jewel do eventually at the end of the round, get a perfect flank going, and it just shut down the remaining attackers. It was just a beautiful job by First Attempt.
And fortunately for Jewel, he can shoot heads a lot better than he can shoot drones over there. But throughout this series, and particularly map number 2, it seemed like both attacking rosters would struggle with dealing with off-site pressure. I don't know if it's the lack of flank drones, because constantly we'd see members just work their way upstairs and somehow not get punished for that. But they need to coordinate that a little bit more. That dial of aggression was turned down, but they're still skipping steps along the way. And Emergence was able to almost bring this back. Sonafin walking down through Whiskey, making absolutely no noise, was almost the play. But here is that offsite pressure that we're talking about. That one kill from Valkyrie, if it was able to be a second, that would have changed the entire scope of it.
Yeah, and we saw this clutch coming out from that final defender. I believe this was ended with a trade, actually, from Ben onto Bloom here. Yeah, it ended with a trade, and that's going to go in the favor of the defenders every time. So a brilliant performance there from First Attempt. It was, again, very close, and even if it was quite textbook, it was still, it came down to the wire, so it wasn't over just like that. But a brilliant defensive performance from them. And so now we're headed over to a match point, round number 11. The big difference, and the reason we wanted to highlight this round, is because it all unfolded before a minute and a half was gone from the round. It just all went down so fast. The bakery pressure stormed in. The defenders shut it down. The pressure from Freezer, it came in as well, and the defense shut it down again. It all went down so fast, and that is what you love to see when we're kind of flirting with this 20-second meta right now, when it all just comes down to, you know, the pushes come out early, make Siege more exciting, not to mention some really interesting plays can come down. So it's in a 1v3. It's going to be all up to Flinties here, but it was nearly an impossible situation for him to take.
So the term that we keep utilizing is the fatal funnel, and we're doing this very linear execute all through Big Bakery. What are your entry options? Either through the rotations that you're utilizing through your hard breach, as well as prep. That's basically all you got, and you're just going to send it on through. The likelihood of you winning those engagements are pretty slim, and First Attempt learns that the hard way, unfortunately. That's why a lot of rosters go for the traditional execute, where you clear the third floor, clear the second floor, swing your sledgehammer, but that takes a lot of time. That's the opportunity cost. It may take upwards of 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and you have so little time to actively execute. That's why the 20-second meta is the bane of so many teams.
Yeah, that's really what it came down to. We're gonna take a quick look at round number 3 here, but really, it was a brilliant job from both of these teams. We saw some really good Siege, and obviously, while our casters may disagree at times, you got to chalk it up to these teams really making the best of some challenging circumstances, to say the least. And really, it was an impressive night, and I was glad to be a part of it, Chief.
And this is actually, I think, the round where we called this the surprise Valkyrie face. I think Azul is the one that came up with that term, where we saw nitro cells being thrown up through floors. That is a very common strategy. And when you're droning out the map and you see a giant porthole over on the west side or the south side of the map by Piano, that little like meter long section, if you don't call that out as an attacker droning, that's a huge miscalculation. Unfortunate for Emergence, they don't make that call. They don't send drones over into train to confirm that, hey, there actually is somebody with the nitro cell, and they just sacrifice their players basically for no reason.
Yeah, and that's what we saw happen here. But that is going to conclude our analyst desk for tonight. We do want to thank everyone for tuning in for this fantastic matchup between First Attempt and Emergence. And Chief, I will let you send us out.
Well, my friend, it is always a pleasure not casting with you today, doing the analyst desk, and for everybody who's running the back end, this league could not run without you, but there's so many of you in the VC right now, I can't list you all. But until tomorrow, stay safe, stay well, and we'll be back with you.